From the magnificent Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, we welcome you to the inaugural Cherry Bowl. Today, the Spartans of Michigan State meet the cadets of Army, making their first ever bowl appearance. The Cherry Bowl is being brought to you by Buick. Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick? By General Motors Parts, home of Mr. Goodwrench. And by the General Motors Corporation. Extra time, extra effort, and attention to every detail. GM is committed to excellence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first annual Cherry Bowl here in Pontiac, Michigan. I'm Ray Lane, along with Jim Brandstetter. This afternoon, the Cadets of Army, 7-3 against the Spartans of Michigan State University, 6-5. I guess you could throw in one tie there for the Cadets, but certainly, when you take a look at their offense, the wishbone could give the Spartans a lot of trouble.
And the Army wishbone is different than a lot of wishbones that you might see as a college football fan. It is about as pure an offense as you'll find because they don't have the great backs, so they're even-handed. They go left, they go right equally as well, and the quarterback is the key. He reads the defense and decides who is the most open to get the ball to, and I'll tell you, Army does it about as well as anybody.
You know, when we talk about Michigan State's offense, they were in and out during the regular season.
Inconsistent on offense, but they have the ability to make the big play, right? In 11 games this year, their opponents got more first downs than they did in 9 of those games, but Michigan State at 6-5 obviously had to do something right. It was the big play. They can hit from anywhere on offense.
Could the difference in this game be State's defense?
I think so. Michigan State's defense has to contain the wishbone, because if the wishbone can control the clock and the tempo of the game, the Michigan State offense isn't going to have an opportunity to get on the field and make that big play.
And we'll have more on this afternoon's Cherry Bowl right after this brief timeout.
Now in the Mizzlou Sports Bureau, welcome to the matchup for the big one today, the Cherry Bowl, the first major bowl football game in the Midwest in history. And this one's going to be indoors in the Pontiac Silverdome. The Cherry Bowl, Army versus Michigan State. And in the Pontiac Silverdome, there have been many professional football and basketball games played, a Super Bowl, a pro basketball all-star game, but now a bowl football game sanctioned by the NCAA with big payoffs going to both teams. Let's take a look at the matchup. And first, the Army Cadets. This is Army's first bowl game ever. Army's record this year, 7 wins, 3 losses, 1 tie. What a job by Coach Jim Young. In junior fullback Doug Black, Army has only its 4,000-yard rusher in a single season in its long and glorious history. Quarterback Nate Sassaman, a defensive safety a year ago, was moved back to the offense during the spring. And that, too, proved to be a great move because Sassaman enters the Cherry Bowl averaging more than 90 yards per game rushing. And he's ranked as the top major college quarterback in rushing. The offensive line, anchored by All-East guard Don Smith, the biggest offensive line in Army history. Kicker Greg Stopa has set several Army field goal records and for the 3rd consecutive year leads the Cadets in scoring. The defense, spearheaded by senior linebackers Jim Gentile and John Roney. Down linemen Jim Jennings and Mike Sears. And backs Kermit McKelvey and Doug Pavick. Army takes on home state rival Michigan State. The Michigan State Spartans, with their first winning season since 1978 and their first bowl game since 1966. They're coached by George Perlis, a Michigan State alum. This year they won 6 and lost 5. Perlis produced a winner in just his 2nd season and used a solid defense led by all Big Ten performers Jim Morrissey and Phil Parker. Morrissey, the senior captain and inside linebacker, led the Spartans in tackles and his 2nd best career tackler in school history. Parker, working out of free safety with defensive end Kelly Quinn, helped make the Spartans' stunning 4-3 defense one of the very best in the Midwest. Add to it the punting and place-kicking of senior Ralph Mozienko, and the Spartans had another big weapon. Sophomore quarterback Dave Urema skillfully directed the offense that produced a number of big plays that also featured the running of Carl Butler and Lorenzo White and the receiving of Fleet sophomore Mark Ingram. So there you have it, the Cherry Bowl coming up today on the Mizzlou Television Network coast to coast, indoors in the Pontiac Silverdome, Army versus Michigan State. Stand by for kickoff. We'll be right back after these messages.
Back at the Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, just 20 miles north of Detroit, Michigan. Army and Michigan State getting together for the second time only in the history of their football rivalries. Army and State met back in 1931, and that one, Army winning by a score of 20-7. Today, modern times, a crowd of between 76,000 and 80,000 expected to be on hand at this beautiful football complex. Today's officials, all coming from the Mid-America Conference. Your referee, Don Bauer, David Hicks, the umpire, and rounding out the crew, Paul Widener, Bruce Marr, Andrew Pfaff, and Roger Paramore. Again, all from the Mid-America Conference. The Army team has been introduced right now. It's the defensive unit of Michigan State being introduced and led by their fine linebacker you saw moments ago, number 40, Jim Morrissey. Jim, as we mentioned earlier, the Spartan defense has been the key to their somewhat success in 1984.
It really has, and that is the concern of this man, head coach for the Army, Jim Young. He knows that Michigan State has built their record on a strong defense, and the thing that concerns Young most of all is the fact that Michigan State's defense is so quick, and that is one great way to stop this Army offense.
The offense, we'll talk about the interior line, starting with a split end. That's Scott Spellman. We'll probably start on that left side. Krasanovic the tackle, Vince McDermott at that left guard, and Rice at center. On the right side, that Army will produce offensive-wise, Don Smith, who is an all-Eastern player, Dave Wolford, and Rob Dickerson. That line averages 253 pounds, the heaviest Army team of ever. Talk about running, you've got it, with the quarterback Sassaman and Doug Black, the fullback, in between blockers and runners in Hollingsworth, and Hollingsworth supported by Clarence Jones. The Cherry Queen, along with the officials and representatives from Army and Michigan State. That's Morrissey, number 40 of Michigan State, and representing Army, their defensive end, Brad Allen. Well, they talked about 2 years in the making for this Cherry Bowl. The Cherry Growers Association of Michigan, producing 80% of this country's cherry population, building for this, and it became a reality this afternoon. Michigan State has won the toss, and they have deferred, and so the Spartans will be kicking off to Army. You saw the look at the Army offensive unit that will start against the Spartans. What will the Spartans do against that Army wishbone? A ground control attack. This is what they come up with. Their quickest lineman is their left end, Kelly Quinn. Joe Curran getting a start on that left side of tackle. Dave Wolf on the right side. Tom Allen, another very active defensive end. An active linebacking core in Anthony Bell, Jim Morrissey, and Tim Moore. Tim Moore getting the call, number 42 on the right side of the linebacking core. In the backfield, defensive-wise, Lonnie Young, Terry Lewis, Paul Bobbitt, and Phil Parker. And sometimes they have been picked on with a pass, but we don't look for too much passing from Army.
Not too much. One of the reasons is because Army loves the wishbone. It's a ball control type offense, and Jim Young said before this game all week long, he wants to keep the offense on the field, control the football, and keep the ball out of the offense of Michigan State's hands because they have that capability of the big play. They also have a great kicker, Ray, and one that might make a difference in this game.
Ralph Mosienko is a young man that you're talking about, a native of Michigan, actually born in West Germany, but coming to this country at the age of 9 months. We talk about Army. Well, they've got some speed and some good runners, and in their kickoff return unit, they have a couple of fellows that are active in their offensive backfield. Regarding Dee Bryant, number 21, and Clarence Jones, number 40. They are back deep for Army. Ralph Mosienko, the kicker. Now for Michigan State, he is their place kicker on field goals, kickoffs, and point afters, as well as their punter. A year ago, all Big Ten. This year had some stiff competition and wound up on the second all Big Ten team. Nice to have you along here from this Cherry Bowl in Pontiac, Michigan, and hope that you just are getting underway for a great holiday season. Army will watch that one go into the end zone and not going all the way out, and so the Cadets will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Morrissey pretty active as far as being able to put that ball into the end zone.
Mozienko is one of those guys that really kicks the non-returnable kickoffs. He's also in range, in field goal range, anytime the Michigan State Spartans get over the 40-yard line. So they're within scoring range offensively in a lot of situations because Mozienko provides them with that long kicking ability.
Now you'll see the best team as far as it coming and using a wishbone offense in Army. The Cadets, led by Sassaman, the quarterback, number 11. And he hands it right off to his fullback, Black. Doug Black going right into the center of that Michigan State defensive line, with Kern and Wolf leading the way. And of course, those linebackers are going to plug some gaps this afternoon to be successful.
Absolutely. And the key to the wishbone is you've got to commit yourself to running the fullback, whether he gets a lot of yardage or not. But the reason you have to give that ball to the fullback is that sets up everything outside. You've got to hold those linebackers inside to allow yourself to get outside with the pitchbacks.
Penny White is chucked in now as a wide receiver on the left side for Army. Black got 3 yards on that first carry. Again, Sassman faking the handoff to Black, cutting outside and picking up about 4 yards, brought down by Phil Parker as he climbed up to around the 29-yard line.
Michigan State doing a good job. You called the name Phil Parker in there on the tackle, Ray. He is the safety in the Spartan secondary, and if he comes up a lot, and if you hear his name a lot, stopping Sassaman at the corner, look for Army to cross Michigan State up possibly with a pass down the middle if the backfield is supporting quickly on that run.
Ball marked at the 27-yard line, so it's 3rd down and 3 now for the Cadets. Using their tight end in motion, planting them on the left side. That's Rob Dickerson, number 80. Sassaman now had an idea. He wanted to pitch out. He had Jones as a trailer. Instead, Phil Parker coming up from the free safety position, hauling him down. And just about a yard gain there. The Cadets are faced with a 4th and 2.
Great defensive play by Michigan State. Now we're getting an opportunity to see how George Perlis and the Spartan defense is going to defend against the wishbone. You're coming to the left. Watch Phil Parker. He's the safety man. He has got the quarterback wherever he goes. The cornerback comes out to take the pitch back. Good play defensively.
Pressure now for a fellow by the name of Scott Krawczyk, who gets off his first ever collegiate punt. Bobby Norris takes it at the 36-yard line of Michigan State, climbs back up to the 39-yard line, and the Spartans will take over at the line of scrimmage after that 36-yard punt and 8-yard punt return. We'll be right back to the Silverdome. No score in our game. 13 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the opening quarter of the Cherry Bowl. Silverdome here at Pontiac, Michigan. Well, it's just perfect indoors here. The wind, definitely not a factor. Climate controlled at 72 degrees. And wherever you may be, wish you're along with us. Glad you could join us on our football presentation. Keith Gates, the fullback. Lorenzo Wright, number 34, the tailback for Michigan State. Double tight end in there, and Vino Belk is used in motion. Urema on the rollout, and Urema has no place to go as he's hauled in a hurry on some good coverage by Jim Jennings, the big tackle on the right side.
Jim Jennings just busted through the block of Doug Rogers, number 71, a loss of 12 yards. That's just one-on-one blocking up front as Urema rolled, and it was a great play as Rogers missed the block, and Jennings made the hit for the sack.
Interior line of Rogers, Stump, Napolitan, Wojciechowski, and Bodolak will be in there. That averages out to just around 253 pounds, the same as Army's offensive line. 2nd and 22. And around the 31-yard line, pitch this time going to White. And White gets a couple of yards out of that carry. At the bottom of the pile, the linebacker Baptiste around the ankles to make the stop on the freshman from Michigan State. The wide receiver, Wazinski, getting a call today. He's a freshman. Butch Roll at the tight end position, a junior out of Florida. And the backfield, Urema starting at quarterback, White a freshman at that tailback position. Gates at fullback and Ingram, number 11. He's a speedster and a big play type of individual at that flanker position.
They might be looking for Ingram here at 3rd and 22.
3rd down, long yardage. Urema getting some good blocking, plenty of time. Out of the pocket, still can't find anybody open. Now trying to go down to the sideline. Might have been out of bounds, and that might have been Ingram coming back in there after he'd run his pattern and coming back. It was Ingram, but he was stepping out of bounds trying to make the reception. He was covered by Kermit McKelvey, a senior out of Wichita, Kansas for the Cadets.
So, you know, the Army secondary was criticized a lot coming into this ball game. Well, I'll tell you, on that instance, It was great coverage by the secondaries. We take a look at the deep men for the Cadets of Army. Number 13 is Daryl Londo. Moshenko will kick it.
Moshenko gets a towering punt away. Londo back to his 6-yard line. Steps at the 5. Now comes up to the 10. Trying to pitter-patter through. Gets to the 13. A 59-yard punt. And a flag goes down between the 10 and the 15-yard line. So the umpire will see what that infraction will be. Moshenko giving his Spartans plenty of time to come downfield. Clipping called against the Cadets of Army. Discussing it with Phil Parker, the defensive captain. Strategy, meanwhile, going on with the Spartans offensive unit. And as they mark this one off, let us pull away from the Silverdome with 11 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the opening quarter. No score. And a word.
Receiving team, first down.
From your local stations. We'll be right back.
The Cherry Bowl is brought to you in part by Elias Brothers, AAA Michigan, your snapper dealer, and by Ameritech Mobile Communications, America's most advanced mobile telephone system.
On the punt return, that clipping infraction called against the Cadets of Army marched halfway back to the goal line, so it's back at the 6-yard line where Army will take over possession now. Sassman bringing his Cadets up to the line of scrimmage. Again, Black, Jones, and Hollingsworth in that wishbone backfield for the Cadets. And Sassman hangs on to it, will not toss it to his trailer, and gets up to around the 15-yard line before he's grabbed and brought down by Anthony Bell on the jersey. Bell at linebacker on the left side.
The previous play, we saw Phil Parker come up when Army had the ball to make the stop. This time, Parker tries again, but he gets caught up inside. And watch the block. There it is by Jones. He knocks Parker down. That allows Sassman to get outside. The blocking back of Jones made the play.
Sassman getting 9 yards on that carry. Dickerson now, the tight end comes in close, handoff to Black, straight ahead. Bobble the ball. I believe Army has fumbled, and we'll see if State came up with it. The players indicating the Spartans have it. The officials unpotting them. And Army retains possession. Doug Black on that carry had lost the ball momentarily, but a knee had touched.
One of the things about the wishbone, it is a turnover offense. He's got to ride that fullback into the line of scrimmage. There you see the ball come free, and I'm surprised Michigan State didn't get it. Quinn and Morrissey both looked like they were on top of it, but Army got back to it underneath the pile.
Army gets the break, recovers the fumble, and picking up the first down. So the Cadets at their own 17-yard line, 1st and 10. First down of this ball game. Sassman now pitching out to Hollingsworth, and Bell drives him out of bounds on the far side of the field. 4 or 5 yards on that carry. Sassman, although pitching that time, has carried the ball 3 times for a total of 14 yards.
And not only is Sassman a good ball carrier in this wishbone, but there you got an example of what Sassman can do. Came out, and it had to be a quick pitch because Kelly Quinn had gotten penetration, but he got the ball out to Hollingsworth. They picked up 5 on the play.
Spellman checks in now. It's split in. White goes off the field for Army. 2nd down, about 5 yards. Coming to the left side, Sassman driving into Lewis. Lewis standing in front of him. And underneath, the tackle made by Moore.
You wonder about the intensity of this football game. I'm going to tell you what, the Michigan State defensive backs are coming up ready to play because they know that they have got to be the people that stop this wishbone. Now, Nate Sassman has taken a lot of hits in his day, but Terry Lewis will put one on him right here that makes Nate welcome to the Big Ten in a hurry.
Measurement now to see if Army got that first down. It'll be very close. Shy by inches. Ball just about at the 27, just a little crossed. Well, we've had names, of course, great names in the history of the U.S. Military Academy. And certainly General Douglas MacArthur goes down in the annals as one of this nation's greats.
Not sure he'd appreciate that likeness, though, would you?
No, exactly right. Sassaman, the quarterback, handing off to Black. A fumble again. A little mix-up on the handoff to the fullback from Sassaman, the quarterback. And that ball was loose momentarily. Again, Army recovering that ball. Sassaman coming up with the ball. But Michigan State holding on 3rd down and inches. And Army coming out in punt formation. Krausick, the punter. In a hurry, gets away the kick. Morris going back and takes it over the shoulder. He had signaled for a fair catch at the 25, driven back close to the 22. So the Spartans will go on the offensive attack after a 49-yard punt by Krausick of Army. Talking about that young man earlier, Krausick punting for the first time in his collegiate career in this ball game, and really the pressure on him.
And Jim Young told us this week that Krausick's the kind of punter that he'll hit one sideways and then he'll boom another one 50 yards. On that occasion, he got it to it and hit it for 50.
Spartans will start the attack now at their own 22-yard line. No score in the ball game. Uribe handing off to his tailback, Lorenzo White. Gets across the 25, up close to the 28-yard line. Alsus, the nose guard, middle linebacker, but they use him as a nose guard here, getting credit for the tackle.
The Army defense will overshift to the tight end, and they're normally an odd-looking front with a nose guard, but with Michigan State running an unbalanced line with a tight end, they will shift it over so that it looks like an even defense.
2nd down and 5 for the Spartans at the 27-yard line of Michigan State. And again, White met that time by Gentile. The linebacker moving up, planting the shoulder and doing a job. And you talk about doing a job. The linebackers for Army have done that this year. And talking to him before the ball game, Jim Gentile saying, hey, we key on the guards. We look to see where the guards are going. We'll wind up with the ball.
And if Terry Lewis laid the wood to Nate Sassaman in the previous possession of Army, Jim Gentile certainly let Lorenzo White know that Army can play hard-nosed football, too.
All right, now they have Gates as a lone back in there with Morris in. And split wide was the receiver, Dipsy Norman. The pass intended for the fullback coming out of the wing-back position. Bobby Morris incomplete.
Decent coverage over there by linebacker Marty Baptiste also.
4th and 4, and Army sitting back deep right now. Darrell Londo is the deep man. And Mosenko end over end this time. Londo at his 25. Up to the 35-yard line and greeted there and driven back. So no score in this ball game. First ever Cherry Bowl in Pontiac, Michigan, with 7:47 to go in the opening quarter. Michigan State nothing and Army nothing, as Army goes on the attack for the 3rd time this afternoon. We'll be right back after this message. Sassaman up under that center of his, Rice. 1st and 10 for Army at the 36-yard line. Sassaman, the keeper, got outside, has a 1st down. Close to the 48-yard line. Again, deception and a fake handoff, and Army now with a 2nd 1st down of this ball game, but Sassaman is the key when he keeps it.
The fake of the fullback holds the linebackers from behind. You'll see Black take the fake to the right side. Now watch the running back on the right, number 40, Clarence Jones. He will hit to the outside. Now he will run upfield and he will take Phil Parker. That is the block that springs Sassaman outside and gets him 1st down yardage.
Army with 40 yards rushing right now, and Sassaman passes intercepted. Phil Parker of Michigan State inside Army territory down to the 43-yard line. We got a couple of flags down on the field. Just about the time that Sassaman released that ball is when the officials threw the flag.
Well, take a look at it. Sassman throws right to Parker. You wonder why Army throws the football in this situation. They've just come out with a triple option play, gotten a first down with Sassman. Army's not known for their passing attack. Throws it right at Phil Parker. That's the 4th interception of the season for Sassman. He's not the most accomplished passer. In this instance, Parker was right there waiting for the interception. Michigan State gets the big break. The penalty was against Army. The Spartans decline, and Michigan State now inside Army territory for the first time this afternoon.
Parker, all Big Ten on defensive backfield, and this year now with his 5th interception of the year. Urema, the young quarterback of Michigan State, coming off a year ago of a shoulder separation, and really has not passed consistently this year. Going deep. Incomplete. He had Ingram streaking for the goalpost on that post pattern, a little bit out of his reach, and Pavic, the free safety of Army, he is number 27, really giving a good chase and coverage.
There you see the idea and the strategy of George Perlis on offense. They get the ball on a quick turnover inside the Army territory, and automatically they come up with a big play trying to go deep to Ingram down the middle. Army, though, their secondary waiting for it, playing a straight zone, and Pavic was there to make sure that nothing happened.
State of that passing department, 0 for 3 now. That ball at the 43-yard line of Army, 2nd and 10. Urema faking to the right, looked like a broken play. And now gets a block and gives him a hook slide close to the 35-yard line. Urema reacted as if he was going to have a back come him from his right side, and all of a sudden nobody was there.
Looked like a bit of a broken play. Watch Urema. Looks like he's supposed to be faking, but the fake never appeared. It was Aaron Roberts back there, or rather Keith Gates. But Gates did get a block on Malloy, the end, that broke contain and allowed Urema to make that good scramble. It'll be close to a first down, about 2 yards short.
Urema, a sophomore out of Warren, Michigan, collecting 8 yards on that carry. Not known for his ball carrying ability, a minus 55 yards on the regular season. 2nd and 2 for the Spartans, and their tailback going straight ahead did not look as if he got it.
3rd down play, Ray, and it doesn't look like the Spartans got it, so Mojenko may be coming out to try the field goal. Michigan State, for the first time on that play, went to the unbalanced line. Look at to the left. You'll see 4 men, and linebacker Baptiste does a great job filling the hole, taking on the blocker Gates, and Gentili follows right in and got the ball carrier, no gain. Big play for the Army defensively.
State short of that first down by about a yard. Mojenko will have the ball marked for him at the 41-yard line. A 51-yard effort, has the distance. Off to the left. He's wide with it. Well within Mojenko's range, but missing to the left that time. So he has made 3 for 6 during the regular season from that distance. That time wide to the left, and a break for Army. Sort of dodging the bullet, and the Cadets will take over at their own 35-yard line. So the first real scoring threat going astray for the Spartans here in the opening quarter with 5:28 to go. No score. Sassman operating out of that wishbone and handing this time to his fullback Black. Trying to slip through a little bit on the left side, using McDermott, his left guard, and Kasanovich to tackle, trying to find the hole over there. And Jim, again, the advantage of splitting between the guard and the tackle offensive-wise in that line for Army.
Exactly. The center matchup up front will be very tight, and then the tackles will split wider. That opens up a natural hole in the defense to try to get that fullback through.
Black has carried 4 times for a total of 8 yards over the season. Carried a total of 264 yards for over 1,000 yards gained. Sassman on the pitch. Hollingsworth cut down, and Parker in there, moving up from that safety position to make the tackle.
Well, that time the defense switched up. You saw Parker coming to take the quarterback, and then it was Lonnie Young who got the pitch back. Now watch the hit on Hollingsworth. There's the pitch. There's Young right there. Now there is Parker on the pitch back, and he really decks Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth leaves the game, and D. Bryant, number 21, will come in and take his spot. But the Michigan State defense switched up. That time it was the cornerback who took the quarterback.
Both teams have been unsuccessful on third down conversions. This is a 3rd and 7. Reverse coming around and carrying the ball is Scott Spellman, and the Spartans had no part of that. Again, protecting the outside, Parker and Young coming up there to cut off the would-be runner. -6 on a carry.
Good scouting by Michigan State and a good job by Bell outside. He stays at home. He never takes the fake and starts in pursuit. Bell gets Spellman, loses 6 yards. Big play for the Michigan State defense. They've really shut down the offense of the Wishbone for Army.
4th and 13 for Army. Prozic back there to punt. Morse deep for Michigan State. Instead, the punt is a little bit short. And carrying that time was Parker, bringing it back up across the 35-yard line. So the Spartans will take over at about their 36-yard line, 1st and 10. No score in the ball game. 3:23 to go opening quarter of the Cherry Bowl. Spartans nothing. The Cadets of Army nothing. Along with Jim Brandstetter, I'm Ray Lane, and glad you could join us for the first annual Cherry Bowl from Pontiac, Michigan. Michigan State going on the attack now. 3:23 to go in the opening quarter. No score in the ball game. Pitch going back to the tailback, and that is Lorenzo White, the freshman, crossing the 40 and scampering up close to the 42-yard line, 43. Dropped down there by Eric Griffin and Oslis, the nose guard. Army now with a total of 37 yards in total offense, and Michigan State on that 8-yard carry going up now to a total of 24 yards here in the opening quarter.
That's one of the bread and butter plays for the Spartans of Michigan State. It's a pitch sweep, and we'll see it more than once this afternoon.
Morris in there at fullback for Michigan State. White, the tailback. Pitch to White. Trying to find a block to get outside. Has the first down. Good block and forced out of bounds by Jim Gentile, but there was a good block of holding back that cornerback that was moving up that time.
You bet, Ray. You don't talk much about wide receivers blocking, but in this instance, we've got a block from the wide receiver as White takes the pitch outside. Now watch him. He'll dip inside right there. That's the move that allows Ingram 11 to get the block out on the corner of Ken Griffin, and that allowed White to turn the corner and get the yardage for the first down.
First down for Michigan State. Ball in Army territory at the 47-yard line. Here's White, breaks a tackle, 35, inside the 30 of the Cadets. Finally wrestled down close to the 32-yard line. A good effort by the youngster White, finally brought down in there by Bob Silver, strong side safety.
And it's almost like the Michigan State Spartans have decided, hey, the heck with this fancy stuff. Let's get it done, and we'll block them at the point of attack and let our running backs go after him. Lorenzo White right there just has a huge hole to get through. Great blocking at the point of attack. Once again, it's that pitch sweep or the pitch power off tackle. They allow the back to make the decision on where the natural hole opens up. So far, the last 3 plays, the Spartans have been doing it upright.
White carrying that ball down to the 27-yard line, and White gets a call. This time breaks a tackle behind the line of scrimmage and battles for a gain. Somehow got out of the grasp over there of Oslis at the 30-yard line and fought back to the 23.
White was a freshman. He did not start the beginning of the year for Michigan State, but a lot of people feel he is better than Carl Butler, who is their senior guy, who they felt was the best back. There you see the reason why. As a freshman, White has that great balance. He's got good enough speed. He breaks tackles and makes things happen in the backfield.
Spartans have a 2nd and 6 just inside the 25-yard line. Here goes White again. And down to around the 21-yard line. The first hit made in there on him really hard was Dave Shire. And then Oslis coming in on top.
And I'll tell you what, Shire almost caused the fumble, Ray. Once again, here comes the pitch sweep. They lead through with the fullback. That's Bobby Morse, 21. Gets a good block. Now watch the hit. Right there by Ulses. The ball pops loose, but White's able to manage, hold on, and Spartans retain possession, but got a 3rd and 4 looking at him.
Just outside that 21-yard line, 3rd and a long 3 to go. That wing-back formation. Pitch out goes to Lorenzo White. Gets the first down, headed for pay dirt inside the 10-yard line. Tripped up that time by the safety man who comes up and makes a stop on him, Bill Sanders. Actually, he's the cornerback.
It's pretty obvious that Michigan State's going to run this pitch sweep until Army proves they can stop it. White gets a block right there from the big tackle, cuts it back over the middle, trips right there, and he's knocked down finally, but a great job of blocking at the point of attack. It was a trap block over there by number 71, Doug Rogers, the tackle, that really sprung White into the secondary.
White, 10 carries, a total of 63 yards, first and 10, right at the 10-yard line. White again, fighting down, fumble, and Ingram, I believe, recovers for Michigan State. And they get a gain of about 3 yards.
I'll tell you, Army is now beginning to get there and get at the point of attack and deliver a blow. White comes through. Watch the streaking defensive lineman right there, rips the ball free, and Ingram standing right there. Otherwise, Army might have gotten the turnover.
Michigan State at the 7-yard line. Second down as time runs out to close out the opening quarter. So Michigan State knocking on the door when we come back with the beginning of our second quarter after the first 15 minutes of play here at the Cherry Bowl in Pontiac, Michigan. Michigan State nothing, Army nothing. Most valuable player awards for both offensive and defensive players in today's Cherry Bowl game. A $1,000 scholarship be awarded in each player's name to their respective schools. Second and 7. And carrying that time for Michigan State and not getting in. Again, it was Lorenzo Wright. Started at the line of scrimmage at the 7-yard line. Got close to the 5-yard line. We were talking about those most valuable player awards. 2 scholarships donated by the Michigan Sugar Company, totaling $2,000. And, of course, each MVP will also receive a trophy in today's Cherry Bowl.
8 plays in this drive so far for the Spartans of Michigan State, all of them on the shoulders of Lorenzo White, the Michigan State tailback.
Third down at the 5-yard line. White and Morse, the running backs. And Urema intended for his tight end, intercepted by Army. And Michigan State turns over the ball as Kermit McKelvey, the young man from Wichita, Kansas, a senior, pulls it out of the end zone, and Army bites the bullet for the second time.
Boy, you wonder why Michigan State goes out there and throws that football. They've been doing so well with Lorenzo White. Here they come with a rollout, coming right at you. Watch McKelvey, 37, steps right in front of Vino Belk. And there you see the interception. And here it is, the rollout left. No play action. Defense knows it's a pass. Urema throws it, and there's McKelvey right there, stepping in front of Belk, gets the interception, brings it back to the 6-yard line. Army in a hole, but they avoid possibly getting scored against, as the Michigan State Spartans were very, very close.
You know, Jim, when we came on the air talking about our preview in the Cherry Bowl, talking about if there was an Achilles heel, it would be the Army defense. Many observers have said, however, the Army will bend. A lot of times it looks like they're going to break, but they don't. And that time they did not.
It's the name of the game. If you can keep points off the board, doesn't matter how many yards you give up.
At the 6-yard line, first and 10 for Army. Sassaman going in, trying to get outside, gets a hold momentarily and fights it finally, led by Bell and a group of other Spartans, and brought down close to the 8-yard line.
The way the Spartans are playing defense right now, it's going to be tough for Army to run that wishbone into the short side of the field. And I think they'd like to get it to the wide side and spread Michigan State out a little bit more. Then maybe give Doug Black that ball up the middle. Try to pop one in the middle, because Michigan State is loading up a lot of people into the line of scrimmage. That time we saw Thomas Tyree, a linebacker, actually line up in the line of scrimmage.
We said to the 8-yard line, mark it at the 9, give them a gain of 3 yards on the carry, and make it second down and 7. At the Army 10. Sassman faking to his fullback, trying the right side. No part of it. Lewis moving up quickly that time to plant the shoulder. And Lewis also getting some help in there from Michigan State's Tom Tyree, the linebacker.
Absolutely. But the thing that makes the play happen defensively for Michigan State is the fact that the pitch man is covered. The cornerback out there, Lonnie Young, was riding with the pitch man right down the line of scrimmage. Sassman saw him coming, knew that he had to keep the ball, because if he pitched it, they would have lost yardage.
Spellman wide to the right, split in for Army. Third down and 6 for the Cadets. And trying to get the first down on the ground was Clarence Jones, halfback on the right side, moving a little bit on a counter play to the left side. He is short and brought down by Lewis, the cornerback of Michigan State.
That's an idea what Michigan State has done against Army. You might think that Army go back with the counter play like they did on that last play a little bit more often.
Bobby Morris going back deep in this punt situation for Michigan State, standing around his own 40-yard line. Army uses a completely different unit for their punt, and hurriedly moves them in from the sideline. And Krashik back there kicking just outside of his end zone and around the 1-yard line. Rushes on, just got it away. Might have got a piece of it. Bounces around the Army 45, now into State territory. Getting the Cadets roll the way they want to see it, and down at the 43-yard line of Michigan State. Almost blocked that time. The pressure was on. We're in the second quarter of the Cherry Bowl. 12 minutes and 2 seconds to go. Army nothing, Michigan State nothing. We'll be right back.
Join us Monday night, December 31st for the Bluebonnet Bowl from the Houston Astrodome in Houston, Texas. TCU, the surprise of the Southwest Conference, takes on West Virginia. Remember, New Year's Eve, the Bluebonnet Bowl.
Dave Sassaman, the story of what he has done so far in this ball game, no, but what he has done for a high this season, and collected over 1,000 yards on that regular season. First and 10 now for Michigan State at the 38-yard line. Pitch to Lorenzo White, the freshman, trying to get outside. Army's attack on defense that time led by tackle Jim Jennings.
You know, Army is getting to that pitch sweep at the line of scrimmage. Lorenzo White is just breaking tackles. That time linebacker Marty Baptiste was there. White just ran right through his tackle.
Secret to Army's defense, and it's been said an awful lot this season, especially during the second half, going with the flow of the ball from the opponent's offense. And just moving as an entire unit over that time, and that's exactly what they did when they went outside. Swarming that time on Michigan State. Second down at about 5. White getting the carry again. Trying straight up the middle. Jennings again wrapping him up after he collected about 4 yards, close to a first down.
Take a look at Army defensively. You talked about flowing with the ball. You look at the read by Jennings, number 93. He reads the block, comes right up inside. I'll tell you, this Army team is well coached, and I'll tell you, once they get their hands on a ball carrier, they're able to do pretty well against him. 14 carries for 77 yards for Lorenzo White today.
And Spartans need about a couple of feet now for a first down, third. And a couple of feet. White on a pitch, breaks a tackle, has the first down, getting across the 50-yard line, just barely into Army territory. Number 46 for Army had come up there in a hurry. That was useless. Had a shot at him to stop him behind the scrimmage and couldn't do it. Baptiste finally wrapped him up.
And also behind the line of scrimmage, you had Mike Sears, number 95. He was able to get through on a real good quick move beyond the offensive guard, but he was not able to wrap White up. White broke the tackle, got through.
Jennings having a little problem as Jim Young looks on to see one of his players limp off right now. What a job Young has done after going 2-9 a year ago, going into spring practice and says, hey, the personnel I have, it won't work. I've got to go to something else. He goes to the wishbone, and you talk about success. 7-3-1.
And he called up Pat Dye at Auburn, and he talked to the people at Air Force. How do you run the wishbone? This season, after they saw Army run the wishbone, Air Force and Auburn called Young up and said, how'd you do it so quick?
Michigan State running right now into Army territory, first and 10. Little pitch to White. No go. Moving up quickly was their fine linebacker, Gentile, who makes the stop and a loss of a couple of yards.
You don't think if Phil Parker has a beat on Nate Sassaman that Jim Gentile doesn't have a beat all day long. Single coverage on Lorenzo White. Pass is there, and so is Gentile. Great defensive strategy, good execution by the defense there in their coverage.
Lost a couple of yards on that completed pass. Second down now and 12 for Michigan State, back at the Spartan 47-yard line. I guess you could call it second and 13 at the 47. Urema faking the handoff, going deep, and he's high to Walensky that time. A freshman out of Farmington Hills, Michigan, overshooting him a little bit, but pretty good coverage that time by the Army secondary.
Doug Pavick was the guy who came in, to make the hit. The pass coming right into your living room over McKelvey, but watch this. Now, you don't think Wyshynski's going to remember this hit when he goes out there again? That's part of defensive secondary strategy. If you rip the receivers, they're going to be thinking, maybe hearing some footsteps later in the game.
3rd and 13. Michigan State has picked up 76 yards in total offense, and White has 72 of those 76. 3rd and 13. Urema, a lot of pressure. Look out from behind. It's gone. Fumbled around. Army has recovered at the Michigan State 47-yard line. Gentile comes up with the ball. Great pressure applied by that Army defense, especially Bob Kleinhappel.
Absolutely, and not only that, but they never gave up. They kept coming after Urema, and it was Sears who caused the fumble, and Gentile who came down and got the fumble recovery. Watch, they never stopped coming. Even though Urema's scrambling, there's the hit. It was Kleinhappel, rather, and there is the recovery by Gentile. Army gets the big break.
All right, a timeout with that ball marked at the 46-yard line. Army will go on the attack. 9:32 to go in the first half. No score. Our local stations have this word. Right has gained 80 yards. The team overall total offense 72 yards. How does that happen? Well, we got the slide rule out and we'll check it for you. Black on the carry this time. 1st and 10 for Army, and Black pounding his way down close to the Spartans' 41-yard line. You know, there's been a lot of work in getting this Cherry Bowl a reality here for a national bowl and the NCAA. The hard work, of course, of Tom Martin, the president, Muddy Waters, the vice president. And right now we have 9 minutes and 9 seconds in the second quarter. No score in the game. Michigan State nothing, Army nothing. Army at the 41-yard line of Michigan State. 2nd and 6. Sassaman on the keeper, trying to get outside. There goes his pitch to Jones. Jones has a first down right at the Michigan State 35-yard line. Terry Lewis driving him out of bounds.
Good job by Sassaman in reading the defense. When they come up to the line of scrimmage, the wishbone quarterback looks over the defense and sees which side of the defense is the weakest. This time it's the left side. So Sassaman fakes to the fullback. Now they're outside. Now Sassaman makes somebody take him. There's the pitch. He gets him outside the cornerback, Lewis, and Jones gets enough for the first down.
Army, 1st and 10. Michigan State 35. Jones on the carry this time on the double option. Fake to the fullback and gave it that time to his halfback. We talked about the Cherry Bowl officials making this a reality. Also, our thanks to the board of directors, Bill McLaughlin and Bill Morgan, Clayton Jones and Dave Amon, as well as Mike Mills, who is the director of communications, to make this a reality. Just about 4 yards on that carry. Jones has carried 3 times for a total of 14 yards. Ball marked to the 31-yard line of Michigan State. 2nd down and 6. Sassaman on the keeper. Found big hole. Good blocks. First down. 20-yard line of Michigan State. And finally brought down in there by Paul Bobbitt along with Lonnie Young.
The wishbone, the key, the block of the back. Here comes the fake. Watch 40, Clarence Jones. He kneels down and knocks down the safety who's coming up to save, to make the tackle on Sassaman. And then Sassaman just does his good job of running. And there's your face mask penalty. It's on Lonnie Young, number 36. Good replay by our guys in the truck, doing an outstanding job out there. As we see the penalty for face mask on Sassaman called against Michigan State's Lonnie Young.
Face mask on a defense. First down.
So they get the first down, and there's the face mask. 5-yard penalty nailed on to the first down to the 15-yard line of Michigan State. Sassaman now has carried 8 times for a total of 45 yards. Army 1st and 10 of the state 15-yard line. Again, no score. We're in the second quarter. Dickerson was at tight end, moving in close on the left side. Handoff to Black that time. Tried left guard, got a couple of yards out of it. Plugging up the hole, Morrissey on top of the pile. And then the bottle for Michigan State, number 59. Jones in there as well as Tom Allen.
Well, that play didn't give you much yardage, Ray. That is the commitment of the wishbone to give the ball to the fullback. You've simply got to hold those interior down lineman and the middle linebacker in the middle. That allows the outside stuff on the wishbone to go.
All right, the Spartans bring in a couple of more linebackers, Shane Bulla and Derek Bunch, and they're going with only 2 defensive backs in there, 5 linebackers. At the 12-yard line, Sassaman trying to get outside. Pitch this time to Jones. Lewis drives him out of bounds, close to the first down at the Michigan State 5-yard line. He might be just shy.
I'll tell you what, Nate Sassman takes a shot on every play. Down the line of scrimmage, no penetration. Sassman working. Watch Phil Parker, 32. Rips Sassman there, but Sassman gets the pitch out. Now that allows Jones to get outside number 10, Terry Lewis. That's the beauty of the triple option. You've got to cover two guys out there.
Jones, that time on his 4th carry of this ball game, he now has a total of 22 yards. Very close to that first down, inches away over at the 5-yard line of Michigan State. So Army gaining their most ground with Sassman, and on pitches getting outside of Michigan State's defense. And knocking on the door for the first time this afternoon. Spartans have had a couple of threats in the field goal department and inside the 7-yard line of Army at the beginning of the second quarter, but could not capitalize. 7 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first half. Again, no score. Army inches away from the first down to go into a 1st and goal, and just about 5 yards for a touchdown. Sassman has the first down inside the 5, close to the 3-yard line.
3rd down conversions for Army, 1 of 5 now, but this one a very big one inside the 5-yard line of the Michigan State Spartans. And Ray, I'll tell you, down close to the goal line like this, when you compress the defense, the Wishbone is an unbelievably tough offense to stop.
Give credit for that tackle that time to Shane Bulla. That name sounds familiar. His father, Hank Bulla, for so many years, the former assistant coach with the Steelers in the National Association Football League. Touchdown Army. Going straight in ahead. And once they smell the pay dirt inside the 5-yard line, as you mentioned, the Wishbone tough to take.
Clarence Jones gets the touchdown. This time it's a straight dive. Clarence Jones comes right up next to Sassman. There's a lot of people outside expecting Sassman to run that triple option. Fake to the fullback. Army crosses him up. Runs the straight dive with Clarence Jones. Michigan State wasn't ready, and Army's on the scoreboard first.
Craig Stopa will try for the extra point. 32 out of 35 in that department during the regular season. Sassman holds. Kick is up. The kick is good. And Army has gone on top of this inaugural Cherry Bowl here in Pontiac, Michigan, with 6 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the first half. The Cadets of Army 7. The Spartans of Michigan State awaiting the kickoff. No score. Army getting all set to kick off to the Spartans of Michigan State as the Cadets have gone on top by a score of 7-0. Taking advantage of Michigan State, and George Perlis trying to correct things and hoping that his Spartans can come back now and do a job offensive-wise. Young Dempsey Norman, a freshman out of Chicago, Illinois, the deep man back for Michigan State. And this will be his first attempted return of a kickoff during the 1984 season. Altobelli, the short man. Stovall will kick off for Army. The roar of the Cadets on hand for this ball game. Short one taken right around the 9-yard line by Norman. Breaks a tackle, got over the 20 and crushed at the 22-yard line of Michigan State. An Army player back at the 35 of Michigan State down and injured. So Michigan State will have the ball in play at the 22.
Marty Baptiste is the injured player, and that's going to be a big blow to the Cadets. Baptiste, the starting linebacker. If the knee, it looks like they're working on a knee. If the knee is serious, they'll obviously not be able to get Marty Baptiste back into the game. He's backed up by John Roney, who is a starter earlier on in the season. So the loss won't be critical, but Baptiste has been doing a real good job in there, along with Jim Gentile, the other linebacker for the Cadets against the Spartans so far this afternoon.
Well, you talked about Roney being a starter earlier in the year. Of course, he had some foot problems. Baptiste entered the picture. 1st and 10 for Michigan State. Urema operating at quarterback. Pitch going to White, and White is upended again by Gutierrez, the end on the outside, that right side, moving in and planting the shoulder. Carry up to about the 25-yard line. 3-yard gain.
Michigan State has rushed the ball 19 times, 16 carries for Lorenzo White.
You see number 54 in the white jersey, Army, when they broke that defensive huddle. That is John Roney. And a story on that scoring drive by Army for the first score of this ball game. 8 plays, covering 46 yards, taking only 2:51, just under 3 minutes to capitalize and make the score 7-0. Michigan State at its own 25-yard line. 2nd down and 7. Urema wanting to go to the air, up again pressure, and running for daylight. Can't find that daylight. Jim Brock making the tackle.
The Army trainers working on Marty Baptiste on the cadet bench, and you can see they're working on that left knee. And of course, we don't like to see it any time when a football player gets that knee working on. And right now, it doesn't look like Marty Baptiste is going to see too much more action this afternoon.
Head trainer for Army, Gene Benner. His assistants are Jim Wallace and Jack Trainer. And doing a good job trying to get their young man back into the lineup if possible, Marty Baptiste. Meanwhile, Michigan State faced with a 3rd and 8 at its own 24-yard line. Ingram, or rather Moore, slotted on the right side. Urema going over the middle to his tight end that time. And that was Butch Roll. Spartan should have a 1st down. Urema had actually looked deep to his primary receiver, found that he was covered, and going to Butch Roll.
That's a great pass by Urema, because Ken Gutierrez, number 98, had great coverage on Roll. He was all over his back, and Urema threaded the needle.
So the Spartans have a 1st down just over the 35-yard line. Mark it at the 35, 1st and 10. They move Dempsey Norman out wide to the left side. Ingram wide to the right. Gates and White, the running backs. White on that pitch between guard and tackle, and gets across the 40-yard line at the bottom of the pile for Army. Making a stop, Mike Sears, a tackle.
Nothing fancy, Ray. Really just power football. Go after him at the point of attack, pitch the ball back to White about 4 or 5 yards deep, and let him pick the natural hole that develops.
Got about 5 yards on the carry. Make it 2nd down and 5 at the Spartan 40-yard line. Again, Norman wide to the left, and Ingram wide to the right on that I formation for Michigan State. Gates the fullback, White the tailback. Urema to try a pass again, going high to his tailback, or rather his fullback, Gates that time, out of the flat. Intended for Gates, incomplete.
Good job by Kleinhampel also. Kleinhampel was the defensive end on the side that Urema was rolling to, and he got upfield and did not allow Urema to break contain. And he also got his hands up, and that made it a tougher throw for Urema to hit the fullback Gates.
3rd and 5 for the Spartans, again at their 40-yard line. 5 defensive backs in now for the Army as Bill Sanders, number 17, has checked in. And Urema again passing situation. Waiting for Norman to find his way open. A little loop that time, going down to the 40 and cutting back, and covered pretty well in there by Mac Butner, the quarterback.
You know, one of the things I think that is surprising Michigan State somewhat is the quickness of the defensive line and the quickness of the secondary to get people to the football when they throw it.
Moving back is Bob Silver, along with Daryl Londo. Silver number 19, Londo 13. Nozinko back to handle the punt. And booting for better than 50 yards an average a day. Will keep that average, drilling this one into the end zone of Army. Automatic touchback, and the Cadets will bring it out to the 20-yard line on that 59-yard punt by Michigan State's Ralph Nozinko. So with 3:46 to go in the 2nd quarter, Army 7, Michigan State nothing. We'll be right back after a word from your local stations.
Marty Baptiste injured. Got to be disappointed at this point as his knee is under the ice, and Army's got the football, giving to Doug Black.
It does not look good for Baptiste. We would like to see him back in the lineup. Keep our fingers crossed. Black carried that time, got about a yard on that carry, and brought down by Tom Allen, defensive end of Michigan State. So Army now with 3 minutes and 27 seconds to go in this first half with a 2nd down and 9. You see number 6 checking in there. That's Benny White, wide receiver, and he is wide on the left side. Sassman bringing up the Cadets in 2nd and 9. Black bulling maybe for 2 yards at the most. Really found a lot of penetration, led by Tom Tyree, the linebacker of the Spartans.
Michigan State is dropping that linebacker to the split end side back behind the line of scrimmage. So instead of a 6-1 look, they're kind of in a 3-4 now, or a 4-3 with that linebacker back, and that's going to give Doug Black some trouble getting yardage inside the tackles.
Black got a yard out of that carry, make it 3rd and 8. Counter play this time with Jones on the carry, getting close to the 25-yard line. Got 3 on the carry, brought down by Ranella, a tackle on the left side. Young Jim Ranella, a junior, out of Plantation, Florida. 4th down and 5 yards for the Cadets, and you see that wholesale switch for their punting team. So Bobby Morris checks in deep for Michigan State, back at around his 35-yard line. Krozik, the punter for Army. Low drive this time, didn't quite get it up to Morris, and down at the 49-yard line. Bobbitt on the return, number 39 for Michigan State, and down close to his own 49-yard line. So 1:57 to go in the 2nd quarter. Army 7, Michigan State nothing. We'll be right back to the Silverhome. Don't go away. Well, just in those last series of downs, 8 plays capitalized by punts. Army's punting averaging out 41.6 so far. Michigan State's Mozinko 55.3. Spartans at their own 49-yard line, 1st and 10. Urema wanting to go to the air. Good protection this time. Down the sideline. Had a man open. Intercepted. Did he stay in bounds? He did. Army with great coverage that time. Picking off the ball was Doug Pavick over his shoulder at the 1-yard line.
Coverage by the secondary, straight zone defense. Pavick is a safety looking at Urema. Urema does nothing but look down the right side to Wasensky. And he is going over there, Pavick is, and he runs by the corner, but Pavick is the center fielder, just runs back like a wide receiver and makes the interception. Really kind of a telegraph throw by Urema, and he could see the situation at the other end and watch the reaction. Disappointed, obviously, as Michigan State tries to go for the big play, and once again comes up short.
Spartans turn it over. Cadets at their own 1-yard line. And Hollingsworth on the carry that time, got a couple of yards, battles his way out to the 3-yard line. Down to around 139 here. Lonnie Young making the stop. 139 to go in the 2nd quarter. Again, Army leading by a score of 7-0. And Jim could be very well satisfied of just battling and running out the clock to end this half.
I think at this point Jim Young would be very happy to do that, while George Perlis has all of his timeouts, has rather 2 timeouts left. You'd think that he might want to try calling one, seeing if he can get the ball back.
Black, the fullback, on the carry, close to the 5-yard line. And you can hear from our field microphones somebody calling for a timeout. Michigan State calling for that timeout and stopping the clock with 1 minute and 4 seconds to go.
And Michigan State does have all 3 of their timeouts left, so now they only have 2. But good move strategy-wise on the part of Michigan State, in the sense that now they've got Army looking at 3rd down and 8. They're down close to their own goal line. It's expected that Army will run the football in some form out of that wishbone. Michigan State probably get the ball back in fairly decent field position, since the Army punter is seeing his first game action today.
Army faced with a 3rd and 6 here, and Army now 1 of 6 in 3rd down conversions, although they lead 7-0. A reminder again, there will be most valuable player awards for both offensive and defensive players in today's Cherry Bowl game. A scholarship of $1,000 each will be awarded to each player to the respective school. The scholarships donated by the Michigan Sugar Company, and each most valuable player also will win a trophy. And of course, as we talked a little earlier, and Jim Young thinking about getting this ball out of his own territory, the Cherry Bowl coming to being. It was a dream 2 years ago, actually finalized just last August. Nice to have you along and part of it this afternoon. 3rd and 6. Sassaman wants to pass, and now he wants to run for daylight. Has the first down. and runs out of bounds right around the 25-yard line. Army with a big break that time.
Great play by Sassaman. He looked downfield and didn't see anybody, and it was a rollout play action. Michigan State had covered everything to his direction. Now watch, he comes into the field of play. He knows he doesn't want the safety. Now it's all up to Sassaman at that point. As he gets away from Ranella, now he's got blockers to the backside, and he uses that good quickness and sense of his to get to that first down and get Army out of trouble.
Army now 1st and 10 at its own 25-yard line. Faking to Black and rolling outside and picking up 5 yards. So Army now has run a total of 31 plays, and 30 of those have been rushes, and Sassaman has carried now for a total of 11 times for a total of 73 yards. 34 seconds remaining in this first half. Army in control right now and leading the ball game 7-0 over Michigan State. 2nd down and 4 for the Cadets at their 31. To Black, fullback, drives for a yard. Some good hitting right at that line of scrimmage. Allen in there with the Spartans, and also Tyree. 7 seconds, 6 seconds, and that will be the last play from the line of scrimmage for this first half of this first ever Cherry Bowl here in Pontiac, Michigan. So both teams leaving the field, and we have played 30 minutes here at the Cherry Bowl. With the score, the Cadets of Army 7, the Spartans of Michigan State nothing. Nice to have you along this afternoon, and we'll be right back with our halftime activity.
Digital readouts, onboard computer diagnostics, advanced electronics developed by General Motors for the 747. Now many of the same engineers are building the same technology into new GM cars and trucks. So you and your car can drive smarter. Nobody sweats the details like GM.
You have been watching the Cherry Bowl, the first half here on the Mislu Television Network. And we'll be right back at the Pontiac Silverdome after this message from your local stations.
Elias Brothers is introducing the new Super Big Boy. It's just like the regular Big Boy, only more than twice as much fresh ground beef. 2 quarter-pound patties cooked to order. The new Super Big Boy is so big. After all, it is a ½ pound of beef, so it's beefy. Try the new Super Big Boy. Twice as much fresh magic. And of course, it's twice... Oh, this is really big. It's too big. Help?
The new Super Big Boy. It's everything a big boy is, only bigger.
Contrary to popular opinion, the real Office of the Future won't just move information.
Ed, I just met with Nels.
It will move you.
They like
an office with nothing to tie you down, just something to keep you in touch. The Ameritech cellular car telephone.
Excellent.
It turns an ordinary car into the real Office of the Future.
I'll let him know.
For as little as $49.99 a month. Call 1-800-MOBILE-1.
Hi, I'm George Perlis, and this is the nastiest team I know. Flab here would just love to be all over you.
Hi.
Bad nutrition will tempt you. And if you don't look out, stress will sneak right out. Regular exercise can help wipe out flab. Smart eating stops bad nutrition. And relaxation can take stress out of the game.
Oh, no.
Come on, stay well, just for the health of it.
A message for your better health.
Celebrate Christmas Eve with us, Monday at 4.
Halftime at Pontiac Silverdome, the first annual Cherry Bowl here in Pontiac, Michigan. I'm Ray Lane along with Jim Brandstetter. And just about now for the Michigan State University Marching Band of East Lansing, Michigan to move out on the field. We'll also remind you that it is a 300-member marching band at one time wearing khaki uniforms. As you can see, no longer khaki uniforms. We've got a fiesta, a happening, an event taking place here at the Pontiac Silverdome.
You know, the Cherry Bowl committee went together and decided on this football game. They wanted to make it first class all the way around. And this halftime extravaganza will be an indication of what kinds of effort and time and planning went into this event. Because I want to tell you, later on in our halftime show, we'll show you the grand finale of the Cherry Bowl halftime show put on by the Michigan State Marching Band. And I want to tell you, it's something you don't want to miss.
Today's leader of the Michigan State Band, Dave Catron, the associate director of the band's drum major is Dave Keller, feature twirler Lisa Ruppel, and now the Michigan State Marching Band.
Complete with giant chorus line, the Spartan Marching Band takes our finale from the Francis Albert Sinatra songbook. Here is your favorite, New York, New York.
Pontiac, Michigan. I guess you could say it's more than a game. It's an event. It's a happening. And a man certainly who is glad to see it in his own state of Michigan is the governor of Michigan, the Honorable James Blanchard. And Jim, as a Michigan State graduate, I know you have some green and white running inside, but I know you're very, very proud to see this Cherry Bowl become a reality.
Absolutely. It's great for our state. A lot of people aren't aware of the fact that we are a major tourism state, a major agricultural state. We grow more cherries than any state in the nation. It's good promotion. Of course, I love football.
You know, when you look at the matter of economics, and you cover that every day, 24 hours a day, with so many serious problems, not only for the Detroit and Pontiac community, but for the entire state of Michigan and nationally, it's got to have a good, warm feeling to see a group of people get together and make this thing a success.
Oh, absolutely. The state is turning around, as you know, financially, economically. Agriculture is part of that, tourism, sports. You know, this is an unbelievable sports state when you can support the Tigers in Michigan State, Michigan, the Lions, the Pistons, the Red Wings. It goes on, and here's another example of it. And I think it's probably one of the more lucrative bowl games in our very first, so we're thrilled.
As we look in now, we have certainly our national audience, and I think maybe an invitation goes out for the second annual Cherry Bowl.
We hope to not only have everybody here, a state which does an $11 billion tourism business, but of course we hope to see good teams. We're very fortunate to have Army here with Michigan State. Obviously they're a good team, as you can see. I think it's going to provide for a very exciting second half. There's a lot of football ahead of us, but the other thing to remind the viewers is that particularly in the summer, this is an incredibly beautiful state with more shoreline than any state in the nation, more state-owned forest land than any state, beautiful beaches. 95% of the surface fresh water of America surrounds the state of Michigan. And so it's not just now for the Cherry Bowl next year, but all year round. Michigan is a state for all seasons. We want to welcome everybody to our state. And of course, we hope they'll enjoy a good second half today.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's your personal invitation from the governor of the state of Michigan, James Blanchard. Jim, thank you so much. Right now, we're going to talk a little bit about some institutions involved in this ball game, especially your institution, Michigan State University.
It's a great institution. Along with West Point, we're proud they're here today.
Michigan State University students have won 5 Rhodes Scholarships in the past 4 years. That's a record unmatched in American public higher education. Recently, 2 of our outstanding seniors, Ron Tempest of Erie, Pennsylvania, and Rob Leland of Williamsville, New York, were named 1985 Rhodes Scholars. Here at Michigan State, we take pride in our students and pride in our commitment to academic excellence.
The National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics is an organization serving more than 2,000 members of the collegiate athletic community. Because its members share common problems and opportunities, NACTA conducts management seminars which focus on contemporary and long-range strategies. State-of-the-art business technology is keeping collegiate athletic departments in step with the times through NACTA.
Duty, honor, country. These are the words that motivate. Tradition, pride, education. These are the tools that shape. The United States Military Academy, West Point. Dedicated men and women mastering the challenge of leadership, meeting the rigors of higher learning. Leadership, education, athletics, total involvement. The United States Military Academy, West Point.
Yes, all set. And we'll be right back with Army leading Michigan State 7-0. But first, a word from your local stations.
There's something you should know about Diet Colas.
Those with 100% NutraSweet, step forward.
Pepsi's Diet Colas contain 100% NutraSweet, no saccharin.
Those with saccharin, step forward.
Whereas most sizes of Coca-Cola's diet soft drinks
Move your cans.
contain almost twice as much saccharin as they do NutraSweet. So if you want 100% NutraSweet, buy Diet Pepsi Free, and Pepsi Light.
100% NutraSweet, 100% taste.
Pontiac Silverdome. I'm Jim Brandstatter. Joining me, one of the Heisman Trophy winners from the Army, Pete Dawkins. You've all heard of Glenn Davis and Doc Blanchard, but don't forget, Pete Dawkins also won a Heisman Trophy winner for the Army. And take a look at Pete Dawkins in action. He was one great football player. And Pete, as you watch the footage of you as an old hero for the cadets, what do you feel? What do you think about this game?
Well, I think that it's time to put all that behind us and come into a resurgence of a new Army team. And it's pretty exciting that this year is the year that we find the Army team for the first time in its history at a bowl game. And of course, I'm partial, but I can't think of any place that's a better and more appropriate place to have that happen than here at the Silverdome, my home state of Michigan, 6 miles from my home.
Well, it's obvious you are a great football player. And what about the Army? Can they come back to football prominence and be with the nation's leaders, do you think?
Jim, I think they have. There's no question on my mind, but that the Army team ought to be able to play representative football around this nation in all the different sections. It's a national institution, the Academy is, and the football ought to be national football. Now, it's been a long trough they've been in. It's taken them a while to really pull it together, but I think now we've seen with Jim Young and this approach and the team they've got here now that they really can go out and play maybe not the football factories, not the giants, but play representative football across the nation and acquit themselves very well.
Well, they certainly have here in the first half as Army leads Michigan State 7-0. And I know that you'd like to wish all the people watching this telecast across the country, especially those wearing Army colors, that we're still here and they feel that Army probably win this football game, wouldn't you?
Well, we would want very much, of course, being our first bowl particularly, to be able to be victorious. I'm a partisan fan, there's no question about that. But as far as the occasion is concerned, the first Cherry Bowl, and of course back in Michigan, there's no way that can be anything but a success, regardless of the outcome.
Thanks very much, Pete. We appreciate you having along with us.
Jim, nice being here.
We will be back, and we will have more of our halftime festivities. But first, let's pause for these messages for our local stations along the Mizzlou Network.
Back at the Silverdome here in Pontiac, Michigan, halftime, 7-0, Army on top. And it was really up and down and not too much offense in that first quarter.
That was the biggest surprise, Ray. I think the fact that we didn't see a lot of offense. We expected this game, at least I did, to be high scoring. Michigan State has gone for the big play. I think what surprised them most is that the Army secondary is quicker than they expected, and they've gotten to the football a lot better than the Michigan State offensive coaches, I think, have thought. In the meantime, Michigan State's defense has done an outstanding job against the Wishbone. The Wishbone's got about one block to get before they'll break one, and I think that that's what we'll look for in the second half.
Michigan State was knocking on the door. I mean, really knocking on the door inside the 10-yard line at the close of the first quarter. They had the ball at the 6-yard line to start the second quarter. They went for a pass. It was intercepted. And after that, Army took over, marched down the field, and before the second quarter was over, Army had the only touchdown of that ball game. It'd be a good time to see exactly what Sassaman called and what they did to get in for the 6 points.
Exactly, but Army made the break for themselves as they sacked Dave Urema and got a fumble inside the 50. And then Sassaman went to work. They got down to the goal line, crossed Michigan State up a little bit, ran a straight dive right here to Clarence Jones, and Clarence Jones piled over into the end zone. The thing there is offensive line blocking. They just pushed the Michigan State defensive line right back into the end zone, and Jones just followed him in. They're the only score of the game. I think we'll see a little bit more offense from Army in the sense that they're going to get that one block they need to get it outside and turn it upfield.
So the score right now, Army 7, Michigan State nothing, and we're not too far away from the kickoff of the second half. We'll be right back at the Silverdome, but first, these messages.
The second half of the inaugural Cherry Bowl is being brought to you by Buick. Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick? By General Motors Parts, home of Mr. Goodwrench. And by the General Motors Corporation. Extra time, extra effort. and attention to every detail. GM is committed to excellence.
Back at the Silverdome, and the Army team moving back to the field. Michigan State will be on the field, but here's the story in the first half.
Surprise there, I think, the fact that Michigan State just has 9 yards passing, 82 yards rushing. We expected that Army would rush the ball better. They have. But the key right here, turnovers. 3 turnovers for Michigan State, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble. The Army cadets, of course, have turned it over once. That was on the pass interception. But really, Army defensively is surprising Michigan State, if you ask me. They're playing a lot better football than I think the Spartan offense expected them to play. On the other side of the football, the Michigan State defense doing an outstanding job against the wishbone. They're really not allowing them to possess the ball a long time and go the length of the field.
Well, you were talking about those stats, of course. Jim Young, I'm sure, is pleased right now with his cadets out in front 7-0. Would like to add to that total. Of course, you know, when you talked about the stats and the turnovers, Michigan State in that passing department now 2 for 10 and 2 interceptions. Army over 1 in the passing department with 1 interception. Jim Young, head coach, of course, at Arizona, prior to coming to the U.S. Military Academy at Purdue, and a story, of course, at Army.
And one of the things people may not realize about Jim Young is the fact that Jim Young was the head coach of the University of Michigan. At the Rose Bowl in 1970, Bo Schembechler had his heart attack. Before that game, Jim Young was the defensive coordinator at Michigan, and that afternoon, Jim Young took over the head coaching jobs, and here come the Spartans.
And certainly Jim Young very familiar with the Spartan legend, of course, from East Lansing, while he was the assistant coach at Michigan, as you mentioned, that one game at Michigan as a head coach, but certainly has done the graphics over the years, defensive-wise, against the Spartans.
Yes, he has. He was the defensive coordinator at Michigan when, of course, Michigan and Michigan State began their series under Bo Schembechler, and Bo, of course, faced the likes of Duffy Doherty. Darrell Rogers, Denny Stoltz, and Muddy Waters have been all at Michigan State since Bo Schembechler was at Michigan, and Jim Young saw Duffy, and of course at Purdue he has seen Michigan State. Now here at Army, though, he's got a different problem. He's got the problem of having maybe less of an athlete in a sense, but the kids are more heart than you can believe as we take a look at the scoring by quarters of both Michigan State and Army over the season.
Well, you take a look at that Army, and most of that was on the ground, and that total points that they have scored during the regular season, the total of 310, that breaks down to 28.2 per ball game. Not a bad average. Well, Michigan State averaging just about 17 points per ball game.
And one of the key figures there, Ray, the fourth quarter. Michigan State has been outscored in the fourth quarter 87-39 over the course of the season. And as we get down to the end of this game, and I can guarantee you it'll be a tight one, the fact that that fourth quarter statistics will tell.
Well, George Perles in his second year at the helm of the Spartans of Michigan State. George saying this is the bowl game we wanted to come to if we couldn't go to the Rose Bowl, because 95 players on Michigan State's Cherry Bowl roster, 46 hail from the Great Lakes State. And of course, George's record as a head coach at Michigan State after coming along from the Pittsburgh Steelers of the National Football League. We mentioned the players from Michigan State's roster. A total of 40 of Perles's MSU players' families live within 70 miles of this Pontiac Silverdome. The young man wearing numeral number 1, Craig Stopa, out of Prospect, Kentucky, a junior, 6'1", 190. He handles the place kicking for the cadets, and he's been a good one. He has been their leading scorer this year with a total of 77 points via the field goals and point afters.
And we'll take a look at the deep men from Michigan State. Dempsey Norman, number 4, going deep. He's taking over back there in that position for Larry Jackson, number 33. Jackson did not dress for this game. He missed the bus on Monday when Michigan State came over to Pontiac from East Lansing, and George Perles sat him down for the entire game and all of practice. Perfect weather conditions, of course, here at the Pontiac Silverdome. Temperature 72 degrees, no wind, absolutely beautiful inside, while outside it's a little stormy here in the Michigan area. But we're ready for the second half kickoff, and everything is go for the second half of Cherry Bowl 1.
All right, Army kicking off to start the second half and leading 7-0. Stopa's kick angling for the corner into the end zone. Touchback, and the Spartans will start this drive if they can get something going offensive-wise at the 20-yard line. So Stopa puts it just into the corner of the end zone. Army scoring in the second quarter on a 4-yard carry from Clarence Jones, and the point after by Stopa giving the cadets a 7-0 lead. over the Spartans of Michigan State, and the Spartans going on the attack for the first time here in this second half. 30 more minutes of the Cherry Bowl coming your way. Glad you could join us. Hope you're in the holiday spirit. We are. Both teams are. And stick around. Urema at quarterback. Pitch out to White, his tailback. And White getting a couple of yards, fighting for those 2 yards, and brought down by Eric Griffin along with John Roney.
Michigan State opens up with that pitch sweep, and you see Army adjusted to it a little bit. That linebacker is skating out of there much quicker when that ball goes back to Lorenzo White on that pitch. Now, watch Michigan State. If they run that fullback, Keith Gates, in a little trap play up the middle, they get those linebackers thinking about outside. The inside should be open.
White, number 34, came into the ball game with a regular season average of 4.3 on the ground. This afternoon, he has picked up a total of 91 yards for the Spartans, but they trail 7-0. 2nd and 8. White again, this time on a pitch, and oh, as he greeted over there on the right side. Breaking in was Jim Jennings, who really planted the shoulder. Help from Gutierrez the end.
There's the pitch sweep that we talked about. Michigan State very successful with it when they got down close. This time Army in the second half adjusting well. 93 Jennings beats the block, gets the tackle. He got a lot of help from Gutierrez. Nothing there for Lorenzo White.
Gates and Morrison there in the running backs now for Michigan State. They lost 2 on that last pitch. So it's 3rd down and 10. Gates, the single back. Urema wants to pass and goes to his tight end, Butch Roll. They have the first down at the 38-yard line. The pass completed to Butch Roll, a junior out of Hallandale, Florida.
Bob Silver on the coverage. It was a crossing pattern, his second catch of the day, but a crossing pattern underneath. And Urema waits until Roll clears the linebackers. Single coverage by number 19, Silver. And you can see he's lined up outside and just cannot catch up with Roll as he rolls across the middle and gets a big first down for the Spartans as they convert on a 3rd down.
At the green and white 39-yard line, 1st and 10. Urema to try it in the air again, going deep over the middle. Intercepted. Or are they going to roll it down at the 35-yard line? And that was Doug Pavick. And if they give him credit, it'll be his 2nd interception.
They have given him credit for the interception, and this is just a great reaction by Pavick. The tight end roll is open. Urema lofts the ball up a little bit too high, maybe. Pavick reacts over from his safety position and gets the interception. Big play for the Army.
Army has the ball at the 36-yard line. They're on 36, 13:09 to go in the 3rd quarter. Army leading by a score of 7-0 over Michigan State.
The interception by Pavick. As Urema goes back, Roll has cleared the linebackers and is wide open. But watch the right side of your screen, right there. Pavick comes over from his free safety position, playing his zone, and just takes the ball right out of the hands of Roll. Roll loses his helmet, didn't know where that flash of white jersey came from, but Pavick in that secondary makes his 2nd interception of the day. Army has intercepted Michigan State 3 times this afternoon.
And Jim, both of those Pavick interceptions over the shoulder with his back to the line of scrimmage where the play originally started. 1st and 10 now for Army at the 36-yard line of Army. Sassaman on the pitch, going to Hollingsworth. Beat the man on the outside that time as they got Bobbitt trapped over there and finally ridden out of bounds. Jones driven out by Lonnie Young, and Jones doing a good job of the block over there.
Hollingsworth the man with the ball, and I'll tell you, that's what makes the wishbone good. The fact that you've got backs that are willing to block. Clarence Jones came out to the corner and really knocked down the defensive cornerback, allowed Hollingsworth to get out and around the corner and make 3 yards.
You're taking a look right now at Buck Nystrom, the offensive line coach for Michigan State, who was going with his troops, saying, we got to make a few more adjustments, fellas. 2nd down and 7. Sassman on the keeper, shy of the first down by a couple of yards and hit low by Phil Parker. There is Buck Nystrom, one-time player for Duffy Doherty at Michigan State, going back into the 50s.
Oh, see what they're doing? He's on the line of scrimmage, and this guy's open. You get tossed 38.
Well, here was a story of Army a year ago in the left column there in 1983. They go to the wishbone in 1984. Oh, what a pleasant surprise 12 months will make in a wishbone.
Certainly will. And they have really done the wishbone proud in the sense that, again, they don't have the great back. They can go either way, and their halfbacks block.
They are 3rd and 2. Sassaman has the yardage for the first down. Tripped up there and down into Michigan State territory at the 44-yard line. Bobbitt might have been the fellow that tripped it.
One of the things about the wishbone that's good is you get outside. There's the block of Doug Black, number 32 on Terry Lewis. He springs him, and you see Sassaman just get tripped up a little bit by John Jones, defensive lineman. But when they get outside and they get enough people worried inside, Sassaman can turn that corner and get good yardage.
Got a first down, has moved the ball to the 43 of Michigan State. Little counter play off to the fake that time. Faking and then rolling to his left, doing a 360 and coming back into that line. Might have got 2 on the carry. And brought down by David Wolf and Jim Morrissey, the team captain of Michigan State. Morrissey. Sassaman on 14 carries now for a total of 92 yards. And remember, reaching 100 yards is nothing new in an individual ball game for Sassaman. He's done it 6 times during the 84 regular season for Army. 2nd and 8. Hollingsworth on the carry that time. Hollingsworth trying to get outside. Hollingsworth only carried a total of 43 times during the regular season. He was wrapped up that time by Jim Morrissey. But when you talk about running back supporting the fullback and the quarterback, oh, they have some splendid blockers in those halfbacks.
That's what makes the difference with this wishbone as opposed to some others. Their halfbacks, Hollingsworth and Jones, will go down, and they'll take on linebackers and defensive ends.
It's a 3rd and 8 at the Spartan 41-yard line. Army. And Sassaman leading the way. Their field general close to the first down. Lonnie Young moving up there, hitting him low, Bob up and above. But he took a lot of hits. Tom Allen actually is the first fellow to hit him.
Coming down the line of scrimmage, Sassaman decides to turn it up, and he runs right into Morrissey. But Morrissey overruns the play. But here comes number 59. Tom Allen, and Allen from his offensive guard position gets it done. From the end zone, another look at the wishbone. They roll him up inside. Now he cuts back behind Morrissey, but here comes Allen from the backside. 4th down and 1. Army's going for it.
And Army's going for it with a yard to go. Sassaman on the keeper. They had him back there, and he gets the first down. They had a shot at him. That was Kelly Quinn, who had gotten the backfield. Got his arms on him, but couldn't make the tackle.
I'll tell you, this youngster is some kind of football player. Kelly Quinn, here he is. He's got Sassaman wrapped up. Black continues the block, which was the key. Quinn couldn't get the other arm free to get Sassaman, and that got enough for the first down. Good job by Doug Black as he got the guy down and he continued the block. And that was what made the play and allowed Sassaman to turn the corner.
First down for Army. Sassaman over with 100 yards now in this ball game on the ground. And nothing new for him. Here's Black, leading rusher for the year, straight ahead, showing lots of power that time across the 30-yard line and close down to the 26-yard line of Michigan State.
That's what can happen when you've been going outside so much. The linebackers begin to think outside. They begin to skate outside a little quicker. They leave their positions. And then all of a sudden, Doug Black comes back up and busts you right over the guard center gap. He gets 5.
Mark it at the 27 and make it 2nd down and 5 for Army. 27-yard line of Michigan State. Black with plenty of power that time, just diving over the guard position, getting 2 or 3 yards on that carry. You know, another thing, we talk about Army's ground game. We can talk about the conditioning of this group from the U.S. Military Academy, of how they have been so strong in the late stages of all their ball games.
Exactly. One of the things that all cadets have to do at the academy is that they have to take some kind of a physical education course. They have to do physical things, and the discipline of this team and its ability to stay in shape in the 4th quarter is what has made them as good as they are today.
3rd and a long one. Sassaman again going outside, bumped into his own man, did not get the first down. A little indecisive that time, and boy, you've got a fraction of a second to decide whether you're going to make the cut or go outside, and Anthony Bell was the fellow that was plugging up the hole over there.
Nate Sassaman might have turned that one up a little bit quicker. He did run into the block, and Anthony Bell really didn't have to do much except just stay with the block and wait for Sassaman to run in him. But again, you give Sassaman credit. He knew he had to get about a yard for the first down. He just wanted to get that first down yardage, and he didn't want to try to be fancy. He did get the first down by the length of the football, but he'd have made probably a little bit more yardage had he cut it back inside a little bit quicker.
Outside the 20-yard line of Michigan State, to be exact, at the 22 of the Spartans. It'll be 1st and 10 for Army. this drive, the 11th play coming up, and Sassaman has carried 5 of those for a total of 29 yards on this drive. At the 22 of Michigan State, 1st and 10. Sassaman trying to make the cut. Morrissey comes up, got him around the ankles, but Sassaman will move it inside the 20-yard line. Might have got 3 on the carry.
He's a tough little kid, isn't he? He has been out there carrying the ball, taking some awful hits from this Michigan State defense. He's got the flak jacket on, but he's going to be a tired youngster tonight.
You know, we had an opportunity, both you and I, at the football practices of Army on Monday and Tuesday to talk with some of these youngsters. One was Sassaman, who says, yes, I had bad ribs. Yes, my ribs are still sore. They'll be better after the season's over. We're playing with it just this way. Hard hit that time as Sassaman handed off. Jones on the carry, and he was really greeted that time by Jim Morrissey.
Double back fake, really not the true triple option going down the line of scrimmage, and Michigan State's Morrissey from his middle linebacker position read it out beautifully and got in there to knock Jones down. No gain on the play, make it 3rd down and 7 for Army at the Michigan State 18-yard line. 7-0 Army leading. They got that touchdown and the extra point with about 6.5 minutes to go in the first half, and that's the way the half ended, 7-0. Army has had the ball for most of this second half. Sassaman cutting back in and dumped and shy of a 1st down. Again, Morrissey at the bottom of the pile, help from Tom Tyree, another linebacker. You know, you wonder if Sassaman might have pitched that ball out. He had Hollingsworth following him, and it looked like they were closing down on Sassaman pretty quickly. Had he made the pitch, good possibility Hollingsworth might have turned the corner and got the 1st down. All right, Stupa will try for a field goal here. Sassaman will be the holder, marked at the 22-yard line. The effort will be 32 yards for Stupa during the season, 15-17, and his field goal attempts his longest, 50 against the Air Force. He has the distance, and it is no good. From 32 yards out, Stupa has missed only his 3rd field goal effort of the 1984 football season. So we have 6:13 to go here in the 3rd quarter. It's still Army 7, Spartans of Michigan State nothing. Now a word from your local stations. So the Spartans of Michigan State get out of a tight squeeze that time on a missed field goal by Stupa of Army. It remains 7-0. And the Spartans going on the attack for the 2nd time here in the 3rd quarter. Urema going down the sideline. He's got Norman open, overthrows it, almost intercepted. Pavlik almost pulled off his 3rd interception of the afternoon. Urema firing high and wide that time by about 4 yards. Today's attendance at the Silverdome, 70,332 for this first ever Cherry Bowl game. And this is really, truly, I think, going to be a great event as we take a look at Dave Urema going back, trying to hit the big play once again, this time going down the sideline to Dempsey Norman. Army is running a double zone with the safeties just playing a simple center field zone back there. Pavlik reacts to the ball very, very well.
Draw play this time. Lorenzo White on the draw, successful, has the 1st down after he crosses the 30-yard line, his own 30, and brought down finally by Gentile. Gentile, of course, a senior out of Satellite Beach, Florida, and probably the strong man, quickest man on defense for the Army Cadets. So the Spartans have a 1st down, trying to get something on the board, trailing by a score of 7-0. White on that carry now with a total of 101 yards so far this afternoon for Michigan State. 1st and 10. Right side, tight end. That time Vino Belt jumping the count and moving offside. And so the Spartans, for the 1st time, have had something go astray as far as from the line of scrimmage and jumping that count. Hollingsworth, closest man to your picture here. Meanwhile, the 5 yards marked off against Michigan State.
Dead ball, illegal procedure on the offense, 1st down.
Dave Bauer of the Mid-American Conference, our referee this afternoon. In fact, all of our officials, in case you didn't join us at the beginning of our telecast, from the Mid-American Conference.
Sassaman down on the bench talking to the coaches up in the press box. getting an idea of what he can do with that option to make it go a little better against the Spartan defense.
1st and 15 from Michigan State. The fake this time to the fullback, and a little swing pass out to Lorenzo White. He's not going to go anyplace, and driven out of bounds by Kermit McKelvey. Cornerback from the right side, moving up quickly.
The reaction of the Army defense is probably the most surprising thing that we've seen this afternoon. The fact that Michigan State has done well running between the tackles and with their pitch sweep. When they've thrown that little swing pass, Gentile or McKelvey, they're just there in a hurry. Army's well-coached, well-disciplined defensive team. They get to the ball in a hurry.
Michigan State faced with 2nd and 15 now. Line of scrimmage at the Spartans' 26-yard line. We're in the 3rd quarter of the Cherry Bowl. And Urema trying to go to the air, does successful that time to his tight end, Butch Roll, for his 3rd reception of the afternoon. He'll be shy of a first down by about 4 or 5 yards. So it'll make it 3rd and 5 for Michigan State at the 30, about the 38-yard line of the Spartans.
And the way the Army defensive secondary is playing Michigan State, that might be the pass to go to. The intermediate pass underneath that deep umbrella coverage.
Their speedster wide receiver Ingram split wide to the right, Norman wide to the left. That wing-back position with Morris on the wing on the left side. Gates, the fullback on the carry, goes nowhere. Was looking for some blocking, just about got to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. And the Spartans faced with a 4th down and still 5 yards to go.
I think it's pretty safe to say that Army has adjusted pretty well to that pitch sweep, because they have shut it down almost totally here in the 2nd half.
Gentile in there to make the tackle for Army. And meanwhile, Army sending Londo, the deep man, number 13, back. Silver, number 19, the closest man to the bottom of your screen. Ralph Mozinko, the punter and specialist, averaging over 55 yards with punts this afternoon. Drills another beautiful one. This one will bounce at the 1 and bounces around, doesn't go in, and down at the Army 1-yard line. So Michigan State bottling them up, and Moore coming in there. Tim Moore, the linebacker, and on the special teams, downs that ball just around the 1-yard line of Army. A timeout on the field, 3:51 to go in the 3rd quarter. Army 7, Michigan State nothing here at the Cherry Bowl.
Join us Monday night, December 31st for the Bluebonnet Bowl from the Houston Astrodome in Houston, Texas. TCU, the surprise of the Southwest Conference, takes on West Virginia. Remember, New Year's Eve, the Bluebonnet Bowl. We talked at the top of the show of what an effective weapon Ralph Mozienko could be. Well, here is a classic example. He hits this one 56 yards. And the thing that's key is it turns over and heads point down at the 1-yard line. It bounces sideways. Michigan State covers. That is a very, very valuable weapon when you got a foot like that that can nail somebody deep in their own territory.
No doubt about it. Army, after that punt, came out the line of scrimmage. They gave the call to their fullback, Black, who carried it up to the 3-yard line. Got 2 yards on the carry from the 1 to the 3. 2nd down now for Army. And 8 yards at the Army 4-yard line. Partisan Michigan State fans trying to interrupt that call that time. Could not do it. Hollingsworth, or rather Jones, on the carry that time. Trying the right side. Phil Parker moving up quickly to make the stop. And moves that ball up close to the 8-yard line of Army. So they're faced now with a 3rd and 4 yards.
You see, Army offensively has gone to the fullback twice in a row, coming out of their own end zone. Now you expect him to go outside, fake to the fullback, try the wishbone either way.
Bobbitt and Tyree check in for Michigan State defensively. And Sassaman going outside and wrapped up there. Moving in quickly was a linebacker, Tom Tyree.
The play was there to make it go. The fact that Tyree beat the block, that is the key. He was a man that was supposed to be blocked. Coming down the line of scrimmage to the left of the screen. Tyree gets off the block of number 33, Hollingsworth, and is able to get outside. When Sassaman tries to turn it up, there's no one there.
4th down and 5. Krawczyk kicking from his end zone. Partially blocked. by the Spartans, bouncing around at the 20, and down by Michigan State. Winding up with the ball, Craig Smith, an outside linebacker, number 80.
That's the second one that Army has gotten partially blocked today. And this time it looked like Kroshik lined up very close to the line of scrimmage. He didn't line up very far away from the center, and that allowed Michigan State to get in there.
They have ruled now that the Spartans had been stopped at the 27-yard line. That's where they'll start it right after we have a commercial word with 1:48 to go, and Army leading Michigan State 7-0. At the Silverdome, there's your score, 7-0. Army on top for the third quarter with 1 minute and 48 seconds remaining. At the 26-yard line of Army, 1st and 10 for Michigan State. Young Greg Smith will remember that one, a freshman, as he came up with that block punt. White getting outside, finally driven out of bounds at the 20-yard line of Army. Boy, it took a long time for that play really to develop.
Exactly, but the play was not blocked well. This is just speed on the part of Lorenzo White. You see Rooney, 54, got in, no problem. White just turned on the after jets and got outside to get yardage.
White gets 6 yards on that carry. Bob Silver's the man that drove him out of bounds. 2nd and 4 for Michigan State at the Army 20-yard line. 1:41 to go in the third quarter. Army leading by a score of 7-0. That touchdown came midway through the second quarter. This time it's the fullback, Gates, carrying straight ahead. Gets close to the 18-yard line, and linebacker John Roney was in there to haul him in. Young man out of Yorba Linda, California. A reminder that there will be a Most Valuable Player award for both offense and defense in today's Cherry Bowl game. A $1,000 scholarship will be given to the individual players, awarded to them, to their respective schools. A scholarship donated by the Michigan Sugar Company, and each MVP will also receive a trophy for their effort. 3rd and 2 at the 18 of Army for Michigan State, facing 2 yards for a first down. Pitching going to White, trying to get outside, cuts back in, fumble. Army has recovered, and Jim Jennings, a tackle on top of that football.
I'll tell you what, Michigan State is just self-destructing on offense today, and Army's very opportunistic. Watch Rob Alsace come in. No, it's Tom Malloy, 44. He just strips the ball. Jennings on the ground, ball pops right to him. Army gets the ball back on the big turnover. And you see it again here. Watch Malloy, 44, fighting off the block. Then he just gets a hand on the ball and pops it free. Bounces right to Jennings. I'll tell you, this Army defense bends, Ray, but they don't break.
Jim Jennings, a young man, a senior out of New Brunswick, New Jersey, receiving congratulations over there at the cadets bench. And so Army has avoided any problem again for the third time this afternoon. That ball at the 21-yard line of the cadets. Sassaman calling the signals. And rolling to his left. Found a hole. Got good yardage that time across the 30-yard line. Driven out of bounds by Tyree.
Same play that they ran on the goal line that Sassman didn't get outside on, but this time he does. Watch 32 Black. This time Black rolls through the end of line of scrimmage. Now he will pick up Parker. Parker is the safety assigned to go with Sassman. Sassman turns the corner, and then it is number 28.
Tom Tyree.
Tom Tyree, the linebacker, who gets over there to make the hit. And I'll tell you, Sassman is taking a beating today, but on that play, he picked up 9 yards. If he does it all afternoon, I imagine he'll say the hits were worth it.
He picked up 9 yards on that carry, so make it 2nd and 1 at the 31-yard line of Army. And they have the first down. Doug Black, fullback, on the slant to his right side to the 35-yard line. Might have got to the 36.
There you see again. Sassman goes outside. The play before gets 9 yards. Michigan State defensively starts thinking outside. They bust him back inside with the fullback off tackle, and you get good yardage.
Cherry Bowl 84, the first annual Cherry Bowl. Army leading 7-0. We're down to 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Army 1st and 10. And that time Jones on the carry. Clarence Jones, a young man out of Alexandria, Virginia, might have got 3, possibly 4 yards on the carry.
5 turnovers for the Michigan State Spartans this afternoon. Army has turned it over just once. And for a wishbone team, that's rare. Normally, a wishbone offense is considered a turnover offense. but these Army kids are very well disciplined. They do a great job running this offense, and they don't turn it over.
That was their success during the regular season, not coughing up that ball on a very difficult offense, the wishbone. That's the story of the third quarter, and it's the end of the third quarter. Army leading by a score of 7-0 over Michigan State.
1985 sees the return of the National Invitational Basketball Tournament to the Ms. Television Network. America's top college teams will put the nation's oldest basketball title on the line over many of these same stations. That's the NIT Finals, Friday night, March 29th, right here on Ms. TV Sports.
Around Pontiac and the area of Detroit, it's around Michigan, it's Christmas time, and we hope that you're in the holiday spirit. Glad to have you along on Ms. Lou. We start the fourth quarter, Army in possession, and a pitch this time coming around as Black on the carry. Army leading 7-0. They move that ball close to the first down to the 45-yard line. Finally driven out of bounds by the strong side safety, Paul Bobbitt, with help from Joe Kern, the defensive tackle.
Nate Sassaman took another shot on that play. That's what happens to a wishbone quarterback. You get out there in that corner. Defenses normally will try to have somebody take the quarterback. And in this game, it has been normally Phil Parker. But this time it's Kelly Quinn. Watch the hit he takes. But he gets the pitch out there, and they get 8 yards on it.
I told you, Black, on that carry, give that last carry to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth on that last carry. That time going straight ahead, close to the first down. It'll be very close. Black on the carry, the fullback. Ball close to the 45-yard line of Army, and we may get a measurement on this one. Here is Lewis, the defensive back, Terry Lewis, a senior out of Highland Park, Michigan, receiving some attention right now on a foot or ankle problem. Looks like a foot problem, maybe, the arch. Clinton Thompson, the head trainer for Michigan State, on the right of your screen. And we'll check that measurement right now. Army is short by just about a foot.
Big decision here. Army will go for fourth down plays. They are that confident in the wishbone offense. And Jim Young makes the big decision here. Jim Young's playing to win this ball game because he has just sent in Benny White with a play. And the Academy, the Cadets, will go for it in their own territory, Ray.
Army 4 out of 13 on third down conversions. Sassaman needs about a foot for the first down. Fakes a handoff. Sassaman cutting back in. Should have that first down as he stretches out to get it at the bottom of the pile. Lonnie Young making a stop on him, as well as Tom Allen.
Once again, Sassaman knows he's got to get the first down. He sees just a little crease inside, takes a hit, continues the leg drive, falls forward. He gets the first down. Big call by Jim Young. Big play by Sassaman. Army converts.
Sassaman now with a total of 118 yards that he has gained on the ground by himself this afternoon. Averaged coming into the game 5.3 per carry and a total of 1,002 yards for the regular 1984 season. First and 10 Army at the 46-yard line of the Cadets, leading 7-0. And we may be looking for a pass from Hollingsworth. Nobody covered. Now the left side of that field wide open, running for daylight. Will just about get back to the line of scrimmage as Tom Allen had him trapped over there on the right side. Great pursuit by the Spartans.
Great pursuit by the Spartans, but had Hollingsworth been able to throw that ball, and give Kelly Quinn credit for getting upfield, not allowing Hollingsworth to throw the ball because there was a receiver wide open. Now look at the Michigan State defense. They all come up, they cut off the lanes, they break down, they don't allow him to break it back. Great job of defense pursuit by the Michigan State Spartans.
Second down and 10. No gain, no loss. Still at the 46 of Army. Black bulls his way across the midfield stripe into Spartan territory. Dave Wolf tackle on the right side, cutting them down over there. Got about 5 on that carry. You've heard it, you've read it. When they talk about the wishbone of Army, they talk about the keys. Sassaman at quarterback, who gained over 1,000 yards, and their leading single-season rusher, of course, their fullback, Doug Black, and Black now has carried 5 times for a total of 49 yards. 3rd and 5 for the Army. And Sassaman dumps it off this time for a first down to his halfback, Jarvis Hollingsworth. So the first time they've coughed that one up this afternoon on that little pass play.
This guy Sassman is cute. Look at him. He comes right down the line of scrimmage. He looks at Jones and says, nope, sorry. Then he comes up. He sees Hollingsworth just standing around after carrying out his fake, throws it to Hollingsworth, and he gets the first down. Injury to Michigan State as Thomas Tyree is down. But watch Anthony Bell, the linebacker. He's out there covering the pitchback, and Hollingsworth comes through after carrying out the fake, gets the first down. Meanwhile, Thomas Tyree, Michigan State Spartan linebacker, is down on the field about the 39-yard line.
So, as far as passing is concerned, Sassman and Army 1 for 2 today for a total of 10 yards. We're in the fourth quarter, 11:57 to go in the ball game. Army 7, Michigan State nothing. Jim Young, head coach of the Cadets of Army at West Point, his second year, 7-3-1 in the regular season, has called Michigan State the quickest defense that he will face during the '84 season. Right now, the Spartans trail the Cadets 7-0, and you can attribute most of that to the running of a fellow by the name of Sassman, who carried on that last play, got close to 9 yards, finally wrapped up by Dave Wolf of Michigan State.
Michigan State bench, George Perlis got to be concerned at this point. The wishbone is beginning to pick up bigger yardage. Sassman's getting outside the end, and they're getting that safety man who's to come up and get the quarterback. He's getting logged inside and blocked.
The Black Knight of the Hudson from West Point, the Cadets of Army. Need a couple of yards for a first down, 2nd and 2. 8 on that last carry by Sassman. Out by himself, got the first down. All by himself that time, tripped up by Moore, the linebacker.
Anything he does is going well today. Sassman goes the wrong way. This is a broken play. The wishbone goes the other way. He carries the fake out. Michigan State is so concerned flowing to the ball. Nobody's there on the backside, and Sassman is able to turn the corner and get yardage. Take a look at everybody taking a step right. Everybody's going to the right. Sassman, by making the mistake, got himself yardage all by himself, making a mistake on the play. That's when you fall into it, Ray.
That was his 23rd carry for a total of 136 yards. A young man out of Portland, Oregon, giving to the fullback that time, Black, slanting again to his right and picking up a couple of yards. Renata, the tackle, making the stop for Michigan State. Sassman, by the way, is a senior out of Portland, Oregon. A year ago, well, you didn't see him on the chart on the offense. He was a defensive back.
You didn't see any of those backs on the offense. Jarvis Hollingsworth was a wide receiver, and Clarence Jones was a defensive back.
And a fellow by the name of Black couldn't make the team.
Right. Jones was a defensive back on the JV squad.
2nd down and 8 for Army inside the 25 of Michigan State. Sassman to Hollingsworth. He's wrapped up in pretty good shape close to the 25. That was Young that came in there. Lonnie Young, who made the stop, a senior out of Mount Morris, Michigan.
And that is the way to stop the wishbone. Sassman down the line of scrimmage. He is taken by Tom Allen, number 59. He has to pitch on Allen. Now there's a cornerback out there whose responsibility is the pitchback. That's Lonnie Young. They got nothing out of it because Michigan State defensed it nicely.
In fact, lost a couple of yards, so they're back now to 10 yards to go for that first down.
And
it's
Ray,
3rd and 10.
The Navy's here. Here's a guy from the Naval Academy who's got a Beat Army sign up there.
I'm trying to get out of the stadium afterwards. Straight ahead, still outside the 20-yard line, close to the 22.
I guess Navy's most, when they're talking about during the football season, their biggest opponent is the guy that they root for the most besides the Naval Academy is the team playing Army.
Hollingsworth going off the field.
Take a look up front. Army on offense. That's Dave Woolfolk. Woolfolk just continues to go after him. That's real good hard-nosed wishbone blocking. He makes the contact and then sustains.
Stopa trying a 38-yard effort right now, distance-wise. He has it. It is good. So Stopa, who earlier had missed a 32-yard field goal effort, makes it on the 38-yard effort with 8:40 to go in the fourth quarter. And that means that Army leading Michigan State now. Army 10, Michigan State Spartans of Lansing, Michigan nothing. We'll be right back after a word from your local stations. Michigan State, and this could be a key coming up in the next few minutes after this kickoff return, of getting the ball and doing something with it, because if Army gets it back again with that great ground control, it could be the ball game for the Spartans.
Already Army has time of possession 31 minutes and 38 seconds to Michigan State's 19 minutes 32 seconds.
Taken down by Michigan State's Dempsey Norman. And Norman just about gets across the 20-yard line, and he was creamed that time by Bill Sorrells.
I'll tell you what, Ray, if Michigan State welcomed Army to the Big Ten, Army has certainly welcomed Michigan State to the Big East. Watch the coverage. It looks like Norman has a little bit of room behind the wedge, but watch for a flash of number 90. There. Ouch.
Got it to the 23-yard line. First down and 10, Michigan State. That's Morris in that wingback position, the fullback. And Urema completes it to Ingram. And Ingram with a first down at the Spartan 43-yard line. His first reception this afternoon, Mark Ingram. Well, on that last drive, you talked about time-consuming time. Well, number of plays, 15 for Army. Total yards covered, 59. They capped it off with that 38-yard field goal by Stopov.
Gives Army a situation where Michigan State is forced to score twice now to take the lead.
8 minutes and 17 seconds. John Hurt checking in at a wide receiver's post on the left side. Meanwhile, Lewis, a defensive back, getting that ankle wrapped up. Urema, first and 10, wants to pass again. Goes to his short man and completes it. Bobby Morse, the fullback, making the reception and getting into Army territory close to the 47.
Well, this is the kind of offense you'd think Michigan State would be running a little bit more often during the day. Army is covering their deep passes very well. They're in that umbrella coverage, which leaves gaps in the defense underneath. Good shots for fullbacks, tight ends. Also for a wide receiver, if Ingram gets, Urema rather, gets long enough time to throw the ball in protection.
Wazinski and Ingram are the wideouts this time for Urema. And he goes to his tight end that time and connects with Butch Roll, a junior out of Hollandale, Florida. Roll making his third reception of the afternoon into Army territory a little deeper, this time at the 35-yard line.
But once again, the pass thrown underneath most of the deep coverage, and Roll just coming off the tight end position, doesn't run much of a cut, but he just kind of floats out into the flat about 8 yards down the field. Army's defense is backing up to prevent the long play, the big play, and Michigan State's beginning to hit it.
First and 10 at the Army 35 for Roll. That was his fourth reception of the afternoon. Urema getting some pretty good protection. Over the middle, juggled and out of bounds. Did he have possession when he stepped out? He did. Again, it was Butch Roll, a tight end, with his fifth reception. First down, Michigan State.
And a crossing pattern underneath. Once again, underneath the deep coverage. Urema looking all the way for Roll coming across. Silver does a good job. He almost gets a piece of that ball. And then Roll manages to juggle. Does he get his feet down? We really can't see. The referee ruled he did. The Spartans at the 24-yard line of the Cadets.
Roll now with 5 catches, good for a total of 65 yards. Michigan State first and 10 inside the 25-yard line, just about the 25 of Army. Urema calling the signals. Pitch going to Gates, the fullback, just about to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Some good defensive work by Malloy. The end on the outside, that left side breaking in there, breaking down the blocking and tripping them up. Number 44, Tom Malloy, a junior out of Leesburg, Virginia. Actually, was a backup defensive end, but when Brad Allen went down with the injury, got the starting call. Second and 11, lost a yard on the play. The knee touched before he got to the 25-yard line. Audible this time by Urema. Second and 11. Takes a pounding from the left side. A flag goes down. He took a quick look to his fullback Morris on the right side, decided he couldn't pump it off to him, and took the pounding.
Saw the blitz coming, and Urema knew that he had nothing going, so he decided to turn it back inside, and there coming from the defensive tackle spot was Mike Sears.
Mike Sears leading the way that time, a young man out of Plattsburgh, New York for the Cadets. He's a senior, 6'3", 235 pounds. A yard lost on that play carried by Urema. So it'll go down now as second and 11 for Michigan State. Plus they'll nail down a little bit of a penalty against the green and white. We'll wait and see what it is.
Holding on the offense. Second down.
So again, you use the term self-destruct. And Michigan State that time not only going astray with a play that time, but caught for holding.
Let's go now, D. Let's go now.
That's the score. We're down to 6 minutes and 29 seconds to go in this ball game. First annual Cherry Bowl from Pontiac, Michigan. Spartans, long yardage, second down. Need about 25 for the first down. Urema, there's no pocket. It's gone. Jennings leading the way for Army. And he's also in there with help from Mike Sears. As Army, you mentioned their quickness. They really put on the rush.
That's exactly the reason this gets through. It's quickness. Watch from the left side of the screen. Jennings. Now here comes Gentile on a blitz. But Jennings just rolls right around his block. That's great quickness and agility. They're not big. They're not that strong. But boy, can they get to the football.
Against the rush this year, they've allowed on average only 114 yards. Against the pass, 228. The secret against the pass is get those linemen and linebackers in there. That's what they've done this afternoon. So Michigan State now third down and 39 for a first down. This time Urema, plenty of time, going deep. Great catch, Wazinski. Did he stay in bounds? They ruled no. Taken out and out of bounds.
And he also dropped the ball, and we had saw earlier in the game a play where the safety came over and really cracked Wazinski when he went up for the ball. Watch number 19 here on the safety. We've got McKelvey. He's over McKelvey. He has possession. Feet aren't down, but then he doesn't hold on to the football. Here it is again. Watch the safety come over. The ball is caught, but he's in the air. He's in the air. Now watch 13. Rip him. The ball comes free. Incomplete pass. Wazinski couldn't hold on to the football, and it was Darryl Glondo who made the hit from his safety spot.
Mozienko is in there to try a 60-yard field goal.
You got to wonder about a fake in this situation, Ray.
Risco holding. Flag goes down. Too much time. Has the distance. It is good, but a flag went down. Michigan State may have used too much time. Delay of game. They call for that.
Unbelievable. Mozienko hits the 60-yarder. He got it over, and then they delayed the game because of too much time. The 30-second clock, 25-second clock rather, had run out. But Mozienko went ahead. The whistle sounded before the snap. Mozienko went with the kick anyway, and by golly, he nailed it. He got it through. It just clears the crossbar.
Delay
Here's the call.
on the offense. Fourth down.
Fourth down again. It was called for a delay. Now let's remind you. Here's a story of Mozienko. His longest field goal of the year was 54 yards. That came against Purdue. His first effort in collegiate ball was back in 1982 against Illinois when he kicked a 61-yarder. This one will have to be 65 yards. He's going to try it again. Puts his foot into it. He will be short.
Oh, my.
And again, Army has come out of this one unscathed. 5:18 to go in the ball game. Army leading by a score of 10-0 over Michigan State.
Ray, unbelievable turn of events because now Army gets great field position at the 48-yard line.
All right, we got a timeout on the field. Again, 5:18 to go in this ball game. Again, Army 10, the Spartans of Michigan State nothing. Army continuing to lead Michigan State 10-0. 5 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the ball game. Mozienko tried a 65-yard field goal, and field position belonging to Army now at the Cadets' 48-yard line, 1st and 10. Long count this time by Sasser. He gives it to Black, his fullback, and dumped right at the 50-yard line. Loose ball. Michigan State has recovered at the midfield strike. Oh, turn of events. The Spartans are not dead as yet with 5:12 to go. Tom Allen recovers a fumble.
I'll tell you, this takes a lot of the second guessing away from what George Perlis might have to do had that field goal decision from 65 yards had the Army gone in and possessed the ball. But Black's fumble recovered by Michigan State now gives the Spartans back the ball in good field position. But could you have seen the critics out there when George Perlis tried the 65-yarder? Wondering if he didn't get it, he's given Army the ball at the 48 rather than play field position with 5 minutes left to play.
70,332 fans on hand here for this ball game. They're hanging around to see if the Spartans can get on the board. Urema wrapped up. A flag went down just about the time the ball was snapped, right at the line of scrimmage.
Maybe it was a movement in the backfield.
No, it's movement by the tight end, Vino Belk. Vino Belk, number 95, the tight end, did move before the snap. We have an Army player down now. It's Kermit McKelvey, who is way out of the play in the secondary. There's a preliminary call, illegal motion against the Spartans. Now, will they let the play continue, or will they call the penalty and get it be first down? The Army will decline, and they'll take the loss and turn the down box over.
Illegal motion on the offense. Declined. Second down.
Second down, and the loss, of course, loses 3 yards. All right. The assistants of Army.
We get the ball back.
Deciding what are we going to do when we get that ball back. Meanwhile, they work on McKelvey. In case the offense does get that ball, Michigan State has to cough it up in the 5 minutes and 6 seconds remaining. As they work on McKelvey, we would like to say our thanks for all the cooperation for our Cherry Bowl telecast. The U.S. Military Academy Superintendent, Lieutenant General Willard W. Scott, Jr., and the Commandant of the Cadets, Brigadier General Peter J. Boylan, Jr. Thanks to Army's Director of Athletics, Carl Ulrich, the Sports Information Director, Bob Kinney, and his fine staff. And special thanks, of course, to Army's coach, Jim Young, and his assistants. Spartans out of the huddle now, back at their own 46-yard line. Second down and 14. They trailed 10-0. Time is a big factor. 4:54 remaining in the game. Army on top. Urema finds Wazinski open, hits him over the middle, and is brought down close to the 35-yard line. They'll mark it at the 36 of Army, ruling that his knee had hit the turf.
Take a look. Urema goes back. The key to the play is the fact that Urema does have the time here, because he waits for Wazinski to come over the middle and open up. Fairly decent coverage over there by Matt Buckner. Buckner is the guy who has come in to replace Kermit McKelvey, who has gone up with a knee injury. And here you see he's waiting. Finally, Buckner clears underneath the linebackers, and he's able to make the catch. Buckner in pursuit.
Slot Morris, the fullback, on the left side. Michigan State, Gates, the lone running back. Urema with plenty of time this time, and going deep. Wazinski, touchdown, Michigan State.
There's the big play we talked about, Ray. And the key of the thing is that Wazinski adjusted to the ball. Urema actually underthrew Wazinski, and the defensive backs ran right by him. Pavic goes back. He's by him. He was waiting for the interception, and Wazinski, all he did was he kind of adjusted back to the ball, caught it about the 1-yard line, and went into the end zone. Watch him adjust back. Watch him stop right here. Now Buckner runs by him, and so does Pavic. Wazinski backs into the end zone, and smart on Michigan State's part at that point, because they saw McKelvey get hurt. They go to the new man in the secondary, Matt Buckner. Michigan State now possibly looks like going for 2.
Wazinski, of course, a freshman out of Farmington Hills, making the reception for the touchdown. And the Spartans may go for a pair. You're right, Jim. Urema at quarterback. 3 tight ends in there. Gates, along with Butler, the running backs. Urema fired incomplete. Trying to go that time to his fullback, Keith Gates. No go, no point after, no conversion. And so with 4:19 to go in the ball game, Army leading Michigan State by a score of 10-6. We'll be right back after these messages.
Here we are as Dave Urema goes to the extra point. Now, the thing I don't understand about the play, they run everybody in motion to the right. That put Army's defense over there also. And really, it put the defense where Urema wanted to go for that 2-point try. Ray, that I don't understand that call. I would have tried to do something a little bit more spread out to both sides of the field.
Could have been a couple of fellows running the wrong route that time.
I don't think so.
Nozinko thought maybe he might try for the onside. He goes deep, and Michigan State, of course, will count on their defense to get the ball back.
Yeah, back to that extra point. You mentioned the fact that they were trying to send some people to a different place? I don't believe so, because they sent the tight end in motion back the same way, and Urema rolled the same way. That put all of Army over to the right side. This is the touchdown pass. Shows perfectly Washetsky's reaction to the ball. He stops at the 5. Both Buckner and Pavic, the defensive backs, run by him and backs into the end zone. Now the big play for Army on offense to control the ball.
Sassaman trying to get outside. Hollingsworth almost wrapped up, breaks a couple of tackles, and really gets some valuable yardage out when the Spartans had him 2 or 3 yards nailed back there. He eluded those would-be tacklers. Really a fine job that time by Hollingsworth to get away.
Exactly. This is all Hollingsworth right here. There is no play here at all. He is outside. There is Lonnie Young, and watch him roll. This is a great move by a running back. Just rolls out of that tackle, then uses his speed to run by Anthony Bell. Now he's got yardage for the first down. Army possessing the football. Michigan State defensively has to get it back to get back in this game.
And the clock running now down to 4 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the ball game. Cadets of Army 6, Spartans of Michigan State, rather Cadets of Army 10, Spartans of Michigan State 6. Black straight ahead for a couple of yards, and the Spartans trying to get that ball some way. Tim Moore is in there, more on the tackle, trying to get the ball. Trail on the scoring play by Michigan State. It didn't take him long. Capitalized, of course, in the long pass. 3 plays, covering 51 yards. And the big play to Wazinski, of course, for the touchdown.
Michigan State hurting a little bit in the sense that they don't have their starting right linebacker in there, Thomas Tyree. Tim Moore is in there. Tyree's arm is in a sling on the Michigan State bench.
Last play, a yard carried for Black. 2nd down and 9 for Army with 3:13 to go. Sassaman trying to get outside on the left side and hits the turf right around the 35, 36-yard line. So Sassaman picking up about 4 yards on the carry. Spartans slow to get up off that turf. While we have the opportunity, we thanked Army, of course. Thank you to Michigan State's President Cecil Mackey, Athletic Director Doug Weaver, Sports Information Director Nick Vista, his assistant Mike Pearson, and all that staff. And thanks for the cooperation from Coach George Perlis and his aides. Also thanks to Tom Martin, President of the Cherry Bowl, Mike Mills, Director of Communications and Public Relations, to make this first annual Cherry Bowl a success. Morrissey was a fellow shaken up on the play coming to the sidelines. 3 minutes and 3 seconds to go in this ball game. Army leading by 4 points. Army in possession of the ball. In Army's territory right now, that ball marked at the 36-yard line. Shane Bulla has checked in at middle linebacker in the place of Jim Morrissey, the Spartans' fine captain. 3rd down and a long 5. Sassman, the pitch to Jones. Hit there by Shane Bulla, driving him shy of the first down by 5 yards.
A good job by Clarence Jones there, though. He's going out to the sideline, turns it upfield, and stays in bounds. Right now, the enemy is not Michigan State for the Academy. The enemy is the clock, and it's ticking at 2:20 right now. Corps of Cadets on the far sideline here at the Silverdome. Very, very worried about this. And now the big play. The Spartans have blocked punts in this game. They've got to get this one off.
Project the punt. Big pressure. Low line drive. Morrissey waiting around his own 25-yard line and scampers up to the 30, the 32, and goes out of bounds. So Michigan State will have the ball with 1 minute and 58 seconds to play, trailing Army by a score of 10-6. So 1:58 to go in this ball game. We got a thriller here in the Cherry Bowl at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. We'll be right back after this message. George Perlis and staff hoping that a minute and 58 will be enough. Meanwhile, Jim Young looking at the clock, hoping that it will not be inevitable that State can get on the board. They trail by 4. They need a touchdown. Urema back in passing situation. Has to roll out of the pocket. Still looking for somebody. And incomplete on the far sidelines right in front of the Army bench. Intended for the tight end, Butch Roll. So we're down to a minute and 49 seconds. Army leading 10-6. And Michigan State faced now with 2nd and 10. Here in our booth, we've had a lot of help. Bows to our statistician, Jim Snyder, to our excellent spotter, Bud Jersey. Jim Trabulik has been our stage manager. Jimmy, thank you so much. Nice to be able to work with producer Red Springer. And calling the shots, our director, Roger Schwing. Our Cherry Bowl liaison and coordinator has been Robert Lipson. Michigan State at its own 32-yard line, 2nd and 10. On this initial Cherry Bowl, over 70,000 on hand at Pontiac Silverdome. Urema fighting for his life, completes it to his fullback. Gates breaks a tackle, struggles to the 39-yard line of the Spartans, shy of a first down by 3 yards.
Great job by Ulces, 46, the middle guard. He's coming on a pass rush. He's coming on a pass rush. Number 46 from the middle of your screen. He reads the screen and gets over to get Gates. Gates gets the ball. He's got blockers, but Ulces, 46, there he is. He plays off one block. He plays off Wojciechowski, and then holds on for dear life to Gates' leg. Great play by a defensive lineman in a situation like that. You think after the pass is thrown, the defensive lineman just kind of relaxed, look downfield. Not this guy, Rob Ulces, out of Army. He comes back, plays off one block, spins away from Wojciechowski right there, comes in, grabs the leg of Gates, and holds on for Gentili to come in and help.
And the Spartans have called a timeout with 1 minute and 27 seconds remaining. They are faced with a 3rd down and short 3, a critical 3. Could be the ball game right here on this play, at least sustaining the final 1 minute and 27 seconds of an effort of trying to get ahead of Army. They trail the Army by a score of 10-6.
I'll tell you, whatever Michigan State does, you got to give Army's defense all the credit in the world. Nobody gave them a chance to really do much of anything against Michigan State in this game, and they have literally played Michigan State to a standstill.
White, the lone back. In the wing is Morse. Urema wants to pass, going over the middle, broken up, intended for the wide receiver, the tight end rather, Butch Roll, and broken up by Bob Silver.
Bob Silver covering the tight end one-on-one, did a great job just holding on. Finally, when the pass was delivered, he got a hand in there and pulled Roll's hand away from holding on to the ball. Army is also employing an interesting rush. They're putting 4 men on the line of scrimmage, but 1 man is staying back. His responsibility, the scramble and the draw. That's all he does. Hits into the line, then stays on the line of scrimmage.
Could be the last gasp for the Spartans. 4th and 3. 4th and 3. Urema, sideline broken up. Intended for Roll. Again, Silver, the same man that broke up the last play, got his hand in there, flicked the ball away. And Army, with 1 minute and 17 seconds, will take over in Michigan State's territory.
Boy, you got to give Rob Silver a lot of credit. They came back with the same play again. They just wanted to get the ball over first down yardage and get the first down. Silver on Roll, man-to-man. He waits till the ball gets there. Watch him dive. There it is, right in front. No interference. Great defensive secondary play.
The Corps cadets are really ecstatic over there right now. George Perlis chewing that gum and wondering, well, does he second-guess himself? His ball club trailing right now by a score of 10-6. Army with 1 minute and 17 seconds remaining. Sassaman calling the signals at the Spartan 40-yard line. Still rolling outside, gets about 4 yards on the carrier. We talked earlier about most valuable players, offensive and defensive-wise, in this first annual Cherry Bowl. The selections have been made coming down now from the press box. And this gentleman here, number 11, Sassaman, the quarterback, the most valuable offensive ball player, Nate Sassaman, of Army. So he has won the award for the most valuable player. On defense, the defensive player has been selected as defensive back Phil Parker of Michigan State.
I'll tell you, Ray, the selection of Phil Parker is a good one. I don't have much of an argument with it, although I will say that look at the Army defense and what they've done today, holding Michigan State to really 1 touchdown, and that is a long pass they had covered well. I'm going to tell you that Army, somebody on that defense deserves an award too, even though they gave it to Phil Parker, and he's very deserving of it also.
Carl Ulrich, the gentleman right there, the athletic director of the Military Academy. And Carl certainly responsible for the 27 varsity sports that they play at the U.S. Military Academy in West Point, New York. It's been a great week here getting all set for this Cherry Bowl. It's been an exciting ball game. I guess you could say that defense certainly had to be the spotlight in this ball game for both clubs, although young Nate Sassaman led the way offensive-wise for the Army.
Without a doubt, Nate Sassaman did a great job. He took the damage for it also, but Sassaman has come out of the game with those ribs that have been injured. Now, they put in another quarterback. Got to be very, very careful in this situation. A cold quarterback coming into a game, got to get that snap from center. This game would not be over if Michigan State could get a fumble or a turnover with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. But Sassaman is coming back. He will be the quarterback in this final 1 minute and 10 seconds for Army if they keep the ball.
Well, as you can see, these gentlemen, our entire crew, has made it possible for our first annual Cherry Bowl, and our hats off to them for an excellent job. A pleasure working with them here at Pontiac Silverdome, first annual Cherry Bowl. George Perlis standing helplessly watching his Spartans on the short end. Black, the fullback of Army, straight ahead as we come down to 1:05 remaining in this ball game. It'll be, when they unpile, just about 3rd down and 5.
And the Michigan State Spartans have used their final timeout, I believe.
So with 1:05 to go, and Army leading Michigan State 10-6. We pause for this. 3rd and 5. 1:05 remaining in the game. Army 10, Michigan State 6. And a 3rd and 5, Sassaman the quarterback. On the pitch to Jones. That should be it, as Army has the first down easily down to the Michigan State 25-yard line. So the Army in 1984, as Jim Young might have thought there was a late hit there, yelling out to the officials, Army with a win over Air Force, a big win over Navy, winning the Commander-in-Chief Trophy this year, and for the first ever appearance in a bowl game, right now leading 10-6.
They say that Jim Young is not that emotional a coach. Whoever they are, they're wrong, I think, because Young really got hot about something out there. We couldn't see what it was, but he wasn't happy.
25 at the 25-yard line with 58 seconds remaining. And straight ahead, Black on the carry. They had that sweep that time, and he got outside. Might have figured that maybe he wanted his man to stay in bounds as long as he could, and he got out too easily.
Michigan State now uses their last timeout, Ray. So apparently the timeout that we thought they called when Urema had the football on their drive, or just before they scored, I thought that Urema had used a timeout in that drive. But apparently they hadn't, or were not assessed for one. Michigan State now using their last timeout with 50 seconds left. Army just has to run out the football, and this one is history.
At the 25-yard line of Michigan State, and when they come back with play, it'll be 2nd down and 9 for Army. And Army, with a win, will wrap up the season with 8 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. And Michigan State will cap off their year at 6-6. And I guess the Army, besides coming to their first bowl game, Jim, certainly figuring that, well, if the Air Force could win at the Independence Bowl down in Shreveport last weekend over Virginia Tech, they could win their bowl game here in the Cherry Bowl.
Well, I think that you've got to give a tremendous amount of credit to the Army defensive unit, who really stifled Michigan State all day. The offense played well enough. They controlled the football, but that defense did an outstanding job.
50 seconds, 5-0 remaining. Sassaman going back will take the loss, but the clock will continue to tick away down to 43 seconds. It'll go down now to a 3rd down and about 13. But there's nothing the Spartans can do right now. As you see, 30 seconds remaining. Army taking as much time as they can, with a lead of 4 points, 10-6. That should do it. That should be the last play of the ball game. We'll say once again, thank you very much for joining us for our first annual Cherry Bowl from Pontiac, Michigan, on the Mizzlou Television Network. Hope you enjoyed it. The final score, Army 10, Michigan State 6. Speaking for Jim Brandstetter, Ray Lane saying so long, everybody.